Homemade wings, fresh off the grill, beans, and tots. What more could you need? Some good wings too. Not bad. Okay. All right, well, let me see about getting my browser shared here. We can start taking a look at what's going on today. There we go. Perfect. All right, let me see if I have anything to act. Oh, GPT 5.5 is out today. Oh, shit. You know, I'm a little bit excited about that. I've already tried it. And it's good. It's I can tell you already, it's a shitload better than that Claude release was. Total joke. That was a downgrade, man. They downgraded their customers and told them it was an upgrade. Okay. Oh, it begins. Here we go. AI hallucinations created errors in court filing from a top law firm, like one of the big ones. Yeah, that's right. AI slop in your law cases when you're, depending on your legal assistance to save your ass from jail or financial ruin or both, or death. Or who knows what you've done or not done. And ChatGPT fucks it all up for you. Or, I guess your lawyer. Okay. I don't remember what the last thing I covered was that I tagged yesterday, but... 2 U.S. officials killed in Mexico were CIA operatives investigating a cartel drug lab. Are we sure they weren't running the drug lab?
Claudia Sheinbaum.
I'm just saying.
Bomb says that Americans were not.
I don't even need to watch it. Boop, 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 boop. All kind of boring. That was just creepy. So this, in fact, it's so creepy I just don't even want to play it. Actually, I guess these are the guys who are taking over the InfoWars show since the Onion bought it, or they're trying to get to that point. I'm sure it's being fought in courts and whatnot. They're weirdos. I remember watching some of their bullshit on Adult Swim growing up. It was weird then. It's even weirder now.
They're soft to the touch. They're soft to the touch. Did you make a mess of our child clowns? Bring them back dirty. We'll hose them off. And now we made returning your child clown even easier. Just use one of our many Mahanahan's Child Clown Express drop-off booths. And if you don't like that, I've got fudge. Do you have it?
I don't think I need to play more, do I? No. An entire generation of Reddit tards watched that show and loved it. Explains so much. Alright, down the path we go. Whee! Whee! Okay, almost there. There we are. Iran's having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is, Trump said, I don't know, last night. You just don't know. The infighting between hardliners who've been losing badly on the battlefield and the moderates, who are not very moderate at all, are gaining respect, is crazy. We have total control of the Strait of Hormuz. No ship can enter or leave without the approval of the U.S. Navy. Sealed up tight until such a time as Iran is able to make a deal. However that might be. How the SPLC is 200. I dyslexiaed that. How the SPLC's $520,000 per year CEO helped turn civil rights group into a partisan smear machine. Yes, Bob Cut Lesbian turned civil rights group into partisan smear machine. Who would have guessed?
Son behind bars. Tonight, a mob boss's grandson behind.
Yeah, John Gotti got caught in a COVID scheme.
Bars.
His grandson, or grandson.
Carmine Gotti Agnello convicted of fraud in a COVID relief scheme that netted over $1 million. His grandfather, John Gotti, was the head of the Gambino crime family. So how did Agnello try to avoid prison?
Your thoughts are you're going to spend year over year in prison.
That's all right. Things could be worse.
The grandson of one of the most notorious gangsters in New York City, becoming the 16th member of his family to go to prison. Carmine Gotti Agnello pleading guilty to COVID relief fraud, lying on applications for financial relief, and raking in about $1 million in loans.
His life has been wrecked, I would say, over the last few years due to his...
Although, by your Gramps standards, I think that's probably chump change.
His own actions.
Victoria Gotti, the daughter of mob boss John Gotti, making an appearance at her son's sentencing on Long Island. The legal troubles of Carmine now shining a renewed spotlight on his family and their ties to crime, a dynasty built by blood and betrayal.
The violent death of Paul Castellano brings back to vivid life an old tradition in the history of this country, gangland executions.
Back in the 70s and 80s, the streets of New York City were ruled by 5 families.
The leaders of the 5 families are all Dons.
Now they engage in deep 2-bit fraud.
Godfathers, and they all...
I mean, not that they didn't back then too, but now that's all they've got.
All are permanent members of the Mafia Commission, and they together divide up the spoils. They figure out which families, which crews, which groups of the Mafia will control what industries or parts of industries.
At the center of the Gambino family, John Gotti, the mafioso, the dapper Don, seizing leadership after orchestrating the brazen hit on Paul Castellano, the former head of the family.
Paul Castellano was on his way to dinner. He didn't even make it to the hors d'oeuvres.
He ascends to the throne of the Gambino family.
How the mighty have fallen, man.
At the time, perceived to be the most prominent, the biggest, the most...
Once kings of New York, kings of America, even. What happened?
Influential, the most powerful of the 5 families of the New York City Mafia. And he steps out from the shadows in a way that none of his predecessors ever did. He basically becomes the leader of the Mafia.
According to authorities, at the height of his power, Gotti stood as one of the most dangerous and feared crime bosses in the United States. The press bestowing on him the moniker Teflon Don for his ability to avoid prison countless times, with the FBI saying he used methods like witness intimidation and jury tampering.
The Mafia is notorious for its colorful nicknames. In the case of John Gotti, the nickname that he got was for getting off. They could not put him away.
Nothing had stuck to the Teflon Don until today.
Well, his grandson don't have Gramps' luck. The law. I do, don't I? Yeah, I do. There you go. Okay, next up. Tina Peters renewed her motion for bond pending appeal and filed a motion to disqualify Matthew Barrett. Who's Barrett? The judge or prosecutor? Judge? I don't know. The Minnesota Democrat AG Keith Ellison just get called out for being on his phone while a voter cries to him. Oh wow, someone was like asking him a question in tears, crying, and he's tapping away on his phone.
And thank God I made it to that street. There were many of our community members just leaving work from the state hospital.
Well, okay, you know, I actually...
Hospital, which was right up there. They were able to be there and see what was happening. I was scared because of the...
I kind of don't blame him because this is just performative garbage anyway.
The ICE agents have been operating... without impunity. Nobody is stopping them from what they are doing. Well, I did make it to that street. As soon as I turned onto it, an ICE agent
just had a handler come out and tell him, "Hey, dumbass,
maneuvered around me,
put your phone away,"
and slammed out its brakes in front of him, in front of me.
That's funny. Walt's going full trader mode. What did he do? What did he do now?
I think they wanted to get a response from people that created violence so that they could use the Insurrection Act. I mean, this guy's an authoritarian, and that was his goal.
And boy, so much credit to the people of your state for the way that they responded to this.
Oh, wow.
It really was.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel.
Handled it better than they did. Now, of course, what happened, we all know what happened. 2 Minnesotans were killed by ICE officers. Are those...
You're leaving a little bit out there, but okay.
Officers, where do we stand on the investigation?
Well, they whisked him out of Minnesota. I assume they're working somewhere else, and there's countless other examples. They lied about the gentleman who was shot in the leg, and thank God for video. I used my executive authority to launch here a few weeks ago a truth commission where we're gathering all of this. We're going to bring them back and hold them accountable for what they did. Do you even know who they... I don't know.
Do you know their names? Do you even
Some of them we do not. And I think what you saw the most egregious examples. There were hundreds of examples of this. We had 60 of our children gone. It took weeks. We didn't know where they were at. And just countless from, you know, little microaggressions to this week, the Hennepin County attorney charged 2 of them. They just pulled somebody over by gunpoint randomly on the street, decided they didn't want to do anything and drove away. Thank goodness, I think that person had a dash cam. But we don't know yet. But the good news is we'll capture all that. Attorney General Ellison will go after it, but no cooperation from the federal government whatsoever.
Unbelievable.
Not sharing information. And that is so unusual for any of these types of situations. We always share information, but...
And what a terrible message it sends to the ICE force. It's almost as if you can do anything you want.
The ICE force.
Nothing's going to happen.
Well, that's what they were told, and that's what they were hearing. I mean, a minute after it happened, DHS... Secretary Noem was, you know, you saw it with your own eyes, calling the folks terrorists, saying you could do whatever, and then they whisk them out of there and nothing happened. This is a very dangerous situation where the federal government literally weaponized against citizens, and nothing would happen. And I said this whole time, where are the don't tread on me people? Because we were sure the hell getting tread on in Minnesota.
Oh, the nerve. Makes your head hurt, doesn't it? Karen Chuck Schumer. The whole world here apparently said nobody respects Border Patrol or ICE. One of the most egregious, incorrect, unpatriotic, and dangerous statements that I've ever heard from a professional politician. He must immediately apologize to these great patriots. And I mean now, will he though? And even if he did, I wouldn't. Would you believe it? I wouldn't believe it. Senate approves budget framework overnight to deal with ICE and CBP funding, at least on a short-term basis.
The transnational.
U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro just charged Chinese bosses who ran a scam compound out of Burma. They were like scamming grannies or something.
We are driving a coordinated campaign to disrupt as well as impose consequences on the transnational criminal organizations that run and are behind these schemes. Today, we announced significant milestones in that fight. We have charged Chinese bosses who ran a scam compound in Burma where thousands were trafficked, enslaved, beaten, and then forced to steal from Americans for years. We have seized also a Telegram channel, and that channel was luring workers into a forced compound in Cambodia. There they were ordered to pose as U.S. banks, as the New York City Police Department, to steal Americans' life savings. We have taken down more than 500 websites. They were used to steal Americans' life savings. My office is going to continue to work to identify the funds stolen. We have also restrained more than $700 million in cryptocurrency from U.S. victims of fraud. The administration of President Trump is
That's pretty wild.
Lockstep in combating these scams, and we are just getting started.
Jeez. They're freaking enslaving people and making them steal from grandmas?
We are driving a...
Like, what?
Cuba and...
Can you imagine what a depressing existence that must be? Bad enough you're enslaved, but you get... It'd be one thing if you're enslaved to, like, I don't know, pick carrots on a farm or something. But being forced to scam grannies? Shit, man.
Get gender reassignment surgery. Madeline Rivera live in Washington with more on this. Maddie, what do we know?
Hey, good morning, Bill. So the case prompted the Justice Department to send a government plane to Cuba to bring the 10-year-old child back to the U.S.
What is this now? Reverse Elias Gonzalez, but transgender?
U.S. Federal officials say the child's biological father, Rose Inessa Ethington, who's now a transgender woman, and her partner took the 10-year-old for what was supposed to be a camping trip in Alberta, Canada late last month. But they never made it to their hotel or campground. Instead, after crossing the Canadian border, the couple allegedly flew from Vancouver to Mexico City. Then they took another flight from Mexico to Havana. All of this happening, by the way, without the knowledge and permission of the child's biological mother. Court documents don't state whether Rose and her partner were actually planning on getting the child gender-affirming surgery in Cuba, but the FBI says they found notes at the couple's home with instructions from a D.C. mental health therapist to, quote, send the therapist the $10,000 and instructions on gender-affirming medical care for children. Rose's partner had withdrawn that exact amount in late March, per the complaint. Family members of the 10-year-old boy say they were worried Rose had manipulated him to identify as a girl. Rose's brother tells the New York Times
every damn time
she had been pushing for the child to get transition surgery since he was 5 years old. This seemed to be clearly all be coming from Rose. Rose's brother says it was heartbreaking and hard for me to see. Rose and her partner have been charged with federal international parental kidnapping laws. They'll face the remainder of their court case in Utah. Bill.
More of that, please. Charge them. All right, Tom Homan demands Mayorkas face treason charges for opening the border. You bet.
I think that the last election, everybody sees this and thinks it's immoral. I think that the last election was frankly lost on this issue, and that's what everybody says in the exit polls. Nobody liked the open border. Everybody
as bad as the entire Biden admin was, Mayorkas was another order of magnitude shittier than the rest of them were. He was there's just something about him.
It is inhumane. It is indefensible. It's indefensible. If you're a Christian, if you can read Deuteronomy says, don't allow your land to be overtaken by the foreigner. They will become your master and you will be their slave. So if you wish to look to the Bible, I know we're at a Christian college here, there it is. What should happen to these? I think that's one thing that that people are grasping for is what should happen to Mayorkas? What should happen to the Biden administration? These people, they facilitated this. Should they be charged with crimes?
Yes, they need to be held accountable. I mean, what they did. I mean, here the other day, I watched Congress a couple weeks ago. We're going to prosecute Miller, Holman, Noam. We're going to prosecute all you guys what you've done. Really? What have we done? Other than enforce the laws you wrote. Meanwhile, Alejandro Mayorkas stood under oath during testimony in Congress how many times to say the border is secure? He lied under oath. Was he held accountable? No, what they did was treasonous. They created the most significant national security failure in the history of this nation. Was allowing millions of people across this border. And what scares me the most, scare you the most, over 2 million known gotaways. 2 million people that were caught on video, drone traffic, or essential traffic entered the country and got away. Because the Border Patrol was so overwhelmed that humanitarian crisis, an average of 70% of agents were off the line. Some days, here in Texas, Eagle Pass, El Paso, there was weeks where there wasn't a single Border Patrol uniform in the sector on the line. Because they're dealing with the overcrowding, changing diapers, making baby formula, taking care of this humanitarian crisis. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Because you pay the cartel a certain amount of money to get to the border. To see a green uniform, turn yourself in, get released, get flown to the city of your choice, all that. Why did 2 million people pay more not to take advantage of the free giveaways? Why? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. Either because they're gang members, they're criminals, they're smuggling fentanyl, or they're from a country that sponsors terror. That was the biggest national security failure this nation's ever seen, and they need to be held accountable. Because Tulsa Gabbard said it, the intelligence community said it, we know there are people here. We know where some are. We know where some aren't. So I pray every day that something terrible doesn't happen, but I'm glad President Trump's in the Oval Office if something does happen. But what they did wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't incompetence. It was by design. They knew exactly what they were doing. And let me tell you why. Because under Barack Obama, they gave me an award for removing almost 500,000 illegal aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro Mayorkas was the deputy secretary at the time. Joe Biden was vice president. We had a surge at the border under Obama. We shut it down. How did we do that? We detained everybody. We built family residential centers to hold families. We made them see a judge. 90% lost their hearings, were sent home. The numbers tanked. So they know how we fix it. Don't release them. Make them see a judge. Remove them. So now Alejandro Mayorkas is the secretary. Joe Biden's the president. What do? They don't detain them. They don't make them see a judge. And they handcuff ICE so they can't deport people. They did a complete opposite of what they know worked when they were vice president and deputy secretary. This wasn't mismanagement. This is on purpose. They thought they see a future political benefit in bringing millions of people, illegal aliens, put them in sanctuary cities, and he also overturned the Trump census rule, hoping to be counted the next census, which results in what? More seats in the House for the Dems. Plus, they thought they were going to be future Democrats.
I thought I shut you up, bot. I just did that. Oh. No, I didn't. Okay, there we go.
Voters. They sold this country out for future political power. And in my mind, in my opinion, that's treasonous.
Yeah, he's a good one. One of the good ones. Overnight, U.S. forces carried out a maritime interdiction and right of visit boarding of the sanctioned stateless vessel Majestic X, transporting oil from Iran. that like a rename? Forget what the other one was, but
Motor vessel Majestic X, we intend to conduct the boarding of your vessel.
Yep. Hey, Director Kratsios in charge of Assistant to the President, 13th Director of White House Science and Tech. Science and Technology Policy. Director Kratsios here says, the U.S. has evidence that foreign entities, primarily in China, are running industrial-scale distillation campaigns to steal American AI. Oh yeah. We'll be taking action to protect American innovation. These foreign entities are using tens of thousands of proxies and jailbreaking techniques in coordinated campaigns to systematically extract American breakthroughs. Foreign entities who build on such fragile foundations should have little confidence in the integrity and reliability of the models they produce. U.S. government is committed to the free and fair development of AI technologies across a competitive ecosystem from open source to proprietary models. As awesome as open source is, China's using it as a weapon, basically. Undercutting the big American leaders in the field with free stuff that you can run on your own computer if you you happen to have a $20,000+ computer.
For 2 terms is no small privilege to
Second Lady Usha Vance and the First Lady at the First Lady's luncheon.
introduce to you today a woman of many accomplishments, a devoted wife and mother, and my friend, the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump. Serving as First Lady for 2 terms is no small feat, but ours does it with inspiring grace and poise. The First Lady's work is extensive, reuniting refugee families, meeting with lawmakers to improve the foster care system, uniting the world's First Ladies to modernize educational access, and becoming the only sitting First Lady to preside over a United Nations Security Council meeting. It has been such a privilege to partner with the First Lady in empowering America's mothers, children, and families. Through visiting students and military families together, I've seen her passion for education and connection firsthand. In all of her work, she is dedicated to this nation's people and principles, and driven by her deep sense of purpose. But in addition to carrying out her official duties, our First Lady has distinguished herself as an accomplished model, businesswoman, philanthropist, best-selling author, and now movie producer. The First Lady's drive, eye for beauty, and commitment to excellence permeate her life and work. I am deeply grateful for her bold leadership and her friendship. So please join me in welcoming to the stage the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump.
All right.
Our moral, America's children are our moral equals.
As parents and leaders, it is our ethical obligation to ensure our kids develop emotionally and physically within a safe environment. Last week, I shared this declaration with members of the prestigious Ways and Means Committee on Capitol Hill. We convened to advance landmark legislation to protect the foster care community. This follows the Fostering the Future executive order signed last November. I remain impressed by our representatives' bipartisan commitment, and I'm confident this will soon become the law of the land. When passed, this will mark the second piece of legislation I have championed for the protection of America's next generation. The world doesn't move for those who stop. Over the past year, with discipline and focus, I have enacted several initiatives to benefit our children. Domestically, Fostering the Future has expanded coast to coast to roughly 33% of the states in our country.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth reunification of Ukrainian.
Don't talk about Ukraine and Russia now.
I completed the fourth reunification of Ukrainian and Russian children with their families.
Right.
As you can imagine, this is not an easy feat. But I applaud leadership from both nations in working with my representative and me to bring love and safety back to each individual who has been displaced as a result of this horrible war. I completed the fourth. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve as First Lady, but understand that my persistence alone is not enough. Together, we can change people's lives for the better. Please join me in advancing the Be Best Fostering the Future initiative nationwide. America's children will ultimately protect our future freedom. Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve.
This is Robin Allen, chair of the First Ladies Luncheon.
And it's on the other side, and if you can
It's about what I expected.
see it in just a second. It's a painting, and it's by the exceptionally talented Georgia artist Steve Penley. And
Well, let's see that thing then. Oh my gosh, I've worked in that room. That's so funny.
I have asked.
I know exactly where they're doing this event. That's hilarious. It was like the last big AV job I worked. The room looks like a freaking UFO. It's so neat. It's such a cool space. Especially when it's all empty. Like the whole place just looks like this big, round, glowing, bluish, like UFO thing. It's a really cool room.
I have asked Hampton's older sister, Riley Kate, to help Steve unveil his beautiful work. If you'll look on the other side. Thank you again, Ms. Trump. We're gonna unveil it, and we appreciate Ms. Trump for joining us today and for all she does to help make this country a better place. There we go.
Hey, it's pretty cool.
Mrs. Trump.
I dig it. Couldn't get a great look at it, but yeah. Okay. Vice President Vance and Marco Rubio seen entering the White House around the same time this morning. Doing work. Getting it done. Colorado Court of Appeals has denied Tina Peters' motion for a rehearing. Surprise, surprise. will now proceed in the district court. Resentencing. Just walked into a CVS in DC, and you have to ask an employee to unlock the door if you want to buy garbage bags and paper towels. Yeah, that's yep. Welcome to DC. This is our CVS. That's what it's like.
Locked up, paper towels, and Lysol, because the crime is so bad. Air fresheners is what they have to lock up. The unlocking keys, so you have to go ask an employee if you want to buy a
People
bottle.
be stealing shit for their toilet. Warner Brothers shareholders approved the $81 billion sale to Paramount. Wow. It happened, huh? Hakeem getting asked about Ilhan's millions. Her magical disappearing millions.
Hi, Leader Jeffrey. It's good to see you. Just curious to get your thoughts on Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure. Does all of the scrutiny around that concern you at all, and does that warrant an official House ethics investigation?
That issue has not been brought to my attention, but we do know that Ilhan Omar, who works hard on behalf of the people that she represents in Minnesota, is constantly under attack by right-wing conspiracy theorists.
Well, what about her net worth going from $30 million to now under $100,000? Do you believe that's truly an accounting error, as she alluded to?
That's not an issue that I'm familiar with.
What about her winery that she is now dissolving from her financial disclosure?
We're working to stop this reckless
Nothing.
war of choice.
He's got nothing.
In the Middle East, get the economy back on track, win this gerrymandering war that Donald Trump started that we're going to finish. It's not an issue that I've been locked in on up to date.
Hi, Leader Jeffrey. It's good to see you. Just curious.
Oh, boy.
Might denaturalize some.
Like Ilhan Omar?
Mr. President, you said that you might denaturalize some American citizens. Can you talk about
people that are in here that shouldn't be here?
That became American?
No. They pretend to be. Became American?
We'll see. We have criminals that came into our country and they were naturalized maybe through a Biden or somebody that didn't know what they were doing. If I have the power to do it, I'm not sure that I do, but if I do, I would denaturalize absolutely.
Get him out. Denaturalize away.
Negotiations.
Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. He did not say this.
Since you're talking about Iran, President Trump said there's no time pressure in negotiations with Iran and no time frame for ending the war, even after extending the ceasefire deadline. In the meantime, he launched personal attacks against you, calling you low IQ and labeling your criticism as treasonous. How do you respond both to the substance of his foreign policy approach and these personal attacks against you?
Yeah. If Donald Trump wants to debate me anytime, any place, in the Oval Office, publicly, on camera, I'd be happy to do it.
Can you imagine how that would go?
And we'll see.
Because I can.
Who's intellectually superior.
We already can, buddy.
In that type of contest. I've got no doubts as to what the outcome would be. And it's extraordinary to me.
Hey, yo, check it. I've got no doubts
that Donald Trump keeps recycling this low IQ insult. This is from the dumbest.
Is someone chuckling in the back?
That Donald Trump keeps recycling this low IQ insult. This is from the dumbest president ever.
Someone is.
To sit at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And there's not even a close second. Instead of insulting people all over the world, and I'm not really worried about what he has to say about me, but he's insulting our allies. He's worsening the United States' security posture. in doing so. He's fighting with his own MAGA base. The economy is collapsing. It's a train wreck, which is why it's going to take Democrats to get things back on track.
Wow, a train wreck, and you're going to get it back on track, huh? Who's this guy? Matthew Tragesser, don't know. Honored to announce my new role in the Trump admin as Deputy Director of Public Affairs at Justice Department. Don't recognize him. This was aired on CNN yesterday. Oh gosh, what do we got?
Joining me now is James Blair, President Trump's 2024 political director, who is overseeing the Trump political operation heading into the midterms. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. So Virginia's a purple state. What is your diagnosis for why you and Republicans failed to push back the Democrats' redistricting plan?
Well, first I would reframe that in Virginia. So this is
Yeah. Don't let that bitch come out the gate with that bullshit.
The state in November of 2025 that went by 15 points to the Democrats for governor and about 8 points for attorney general. Last night, this was a 3-point race. That's actually a 3-point overperformance of the Trump 2024 historic performance in Virginia. So just as a baseline for all the Democrats.
Interesting.
That's crowing this morning. If Republicans perform anywhere near on average the way they did in Virginia last night, we not only add seats to the Senate, but we add seats to the House, and we have a historic midterm. It was very close last night. There's a backlash to the fact that they were not honest, and the same is going to be true in November. They don't have policies to run on. They don't have a vision to run on. We're going to make them litigate the question of their policies in November. And again, if it turns out the way it did last night, Democrats are not going to win the majority in either chamber.
But it is a win. I mean, if you use that sort of paradigm and look ahead to November, if Republicans almost keep control of the House, it's still a loss.
Yeah, what I expect is that when all of this redistricting sort of continues this cycle, is that there will be a narrow advantage for Republicans. I think that's the reality. And what's really important is Democrats started this like years ago, and they do it through the courts. They take a different tactic, but they've gone through and badgered and jury shopped. I mean, in Utah last week, NBC reported that there may have been an improper relationship between the League of Women Voters plaintiff lawyer and the judge that ruled on the maps for the League of Women Voters.
Gerrymandering is a very deep, very real bipartisan issue and problem.
Don't play that fucking game now, bitch.
I'm going to get to that
No.
in 1 second, just to push back on that. But I want to stay on Virginia for 1 second. MAGA Inc., the super PAC that supports the president, did not spend any money in this redistricting fight. Republicans were massively outspent by Democrats, 2-1. You're sitting on more than $300 million in cash. Why didn't you spend any of it?
Well, from my count, what I can see on the public reports is the aligned no group spent about $40 million. And I don't think that the numbers have really been accurately reported, but that's what I can see through the public reporting. So I think there was a pretty well-funded no effort. The Democrats unloaded, $60, $70 million, whatever it was. And again, their results should concern them. One of the districts that they, redrew, if it sticks, and we'll get to that in a minute in the courts, one of the districts they...
Interesting. Goes on for quite a long time. You're 14 minutes. We'll keep moving, but yet another Florida woman going viral after being arrested for stalking a group of young boys fishing near her house, stealing their fishing rods, assaulting them, only to end up on the ground after one of the younger boys had enough of that shit. You don't mess with my fishing time, bitch. Woo! Ah! Why kids don't play outside no more? Indeed. Because of the freaking NIMBYs. NIMBYs galore. Everywhere.
Try to build our Ukrainian and a system of anti-ballistic system. We need it.
Zelensky says Ukraine must build on ballistic missiles.
In Middle East, and
must build on cocaine farm.
We will try to build our Ukrainian
land missiles
and a system of anti-ballistic system. We need it, and of course we will share with all the partners without any questions, and because we need, all of us, we need it, and not only to create the system, to create such capabilities which can produce more. Now, you know that the United States produces about 60, maybe 65 missiles per month, PAC-3 anti-ballistic missiles. It's nothing. During the first
what was that?
Day of attack on Middle East, you know that they used the volume of 2 years production of such missiles during 24 hours. So we need our European independent strong system, and we will build it, including Middle East.
So he say, Bangino. Message to FBI leakers. Okay, let's see.
A message to these FBI leakers who are out there trying to stop Director Kash Patel from his initiatives to clean up the government and institute broad accountability for a lot of the weaponization that happened before we got there. Let me make this quick. You guys and ladies doing this are filth. You're garbage. You're an embarrassment. You disgust me. I was proud to have worked there. I worked with some amazing people. To the guys and the ladies out there with dirt under the fingernails out there, thank you for everything you do. I mean it. It was an honor to work with you. To the scumbags out there leaking to the media bullshit stories and lies you know are bullshit to try and get cash out because you don't want to go back to doing your job. I'm really sorry about the language here, but you can go f yourself. You are a lower form of life than the single-celled organisms that can pollute people's body. You disgust me. You guys just want him out because you don't want to do your freaking jobs. You don't.
Yeah, pretty
Having
much.
said that, I can't hammer this into your head
That's
enough.
them.
The reason Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, and the FBI Director Kash Patel are almost like the sole targets of liberal media and doomer ops is precisely because they are fixing the two most important entities, in my opinion, in the federal government. Democrats working to make sure Hegseth and Patel are on their way out the door. This is not an accident, man. This is an op. It is so clear. Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you trust.
Should be pretty obvious at this point. Only going to get more obvious in the next, I don't know, couple months or so.
I'm calling on you to act now. Fraudsters, governors, I'm calling on you to act now. Fraudsters and other bad actors are draining Medicaid funds, costing taxpayers billions every year. Worse, it's taking resources away from the people who need them the most, our seniors, our children, and Americans with disabilities. This steals people's health as well, and in some cases, even their lives. And here's the bottom line. It's time to make sure that providers of high-risk services are valid and meet all the requirements to deliver care to Medicaid beneficiaries. Now, for some states, this is years overdue. So don't wait for a long-term plan. That's coming. But it's not a substitute for action today. So here's the deal. Within 10 business days, the American people need to know, will you move forward with making sure the providers are revalidated and can be trusted with the care of our most vulnerable citizens? And in 30 days, they need to know what's your timeline and what's your scope. Since Medicaid is administered by the states, you know where the risks are highest, where the providers operating with weaker oversight. For example, those without national provider identifiers. These are the gaps that criminals, including foreign nationals, professionals exploit. Revalidation works. It forces accountability. It removes bad actors. And it sends a clear message. The Medicaid system is not an unguarded piggy bank. States have the authority to define high-risk providers. And CMS expects you to provide those most vulnerable to abuse. And my team is ready to help in any way possible. We'll provide technical support every step of the way. This is a shared responsibility. State and federal partners working together to protect Medicaid and the Americans it serves.
Oh, dang. Close encounter with a grizzly. Around there. Look at that. Don't turn your back on that shit. Hell no. Man, you see that thing start charging? Oh.
Styles music because
Ticketmaster says it identified scalpers who used fake identities and multiple accounts to buy lower-priced tickets for Harry Styles' upcoming New York show and resell them at higher prices. Those orders have been canceled, and fans can sign up online starting April 30th for a chance to buy the new tickets at original prices. Putting a stop to scalpers, huh?
to buy lower priced tickets. We were playing Harry Styles music because if you tried and failed to get
Gross.
tickets to his upcoming New York shows, listen to this. Ticketmaster announced it busted scalpers who used fake identities and multiple accounts to buy lower priced tickets and sell them for a big markup. The company says it has now canceled those purchases and will be giving fans the chance to buy them for their original prices. The new batch will all cost under $130, and some will even be under $50. You can sign up online for a chance to score tickets starting April 30th. We were playing Harry Styles music because if you tried and failed.
Bet you were. Very nice. Iranian state TV releases footage of IRGC fast attack boats in the Strait.
3 international cargo ships yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz, boarding and seizing 2 of those ships. The White House says these seizures do not violate the ceasefire because they were not U.S. or Israeli ships. Iranian state TV has released new videos showing IRGC fast attack boats firing on 3 international cargo ships yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz, boarding and seizing 2 of those ships. The White House says these seizures do not violate the ceasefire because they were not U.S. or Israeli ships. Iranian state TV has released new videos showing IRGC fast attack boats firing on 3 international cargo ships yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz, boarding and
Virginia, where a chemical leak has left 2 people dead and about 30 injured. Now, it happened Wednesday morning at a silver recovery plant as workers were preparing to shut down the facility. Authorities say a chemical reaction occurred during a cleaning process, which caused an explosion. A shelter-in-place order was put into effect, but has since been lifted. An investigation is now underway. In West Virginia, where a chemical leak has left.
Yikes. Where at? Just say. No idea. Justice Department watchdog is reviewing compliance with law mandating Epstein files release. Wonder how well they've held to it. Guess we're gonna find out soon. Unless they redact that too, you know. Could be. Only a fraction of records within the 30-day deadline. Yep. What? In just 48 hours, 75 fire hydrants in Detroit have been destroyed after thieves started stealing the metal nozzles and stems.
Here today to talk about a serious and unacceptable issue that's going on with our fire hydrants in the city of Detroit.
Y'all can't be stealing the metal out our fire hydrants, okay? It's just not right.
Going on with the fire hydrants, and this is a serious issue. It's not only a theft to the fire hydrant, but it's a theft to our citizens.
Oh my gosh.
We're here here today to talk about a serious and unacceptable issue that's going on with.
What a joke. Meta to cut 10% of its workforce in an effort to boost efficiency and offset heavy spending on AI. Money's got to come from somewhere, I guess.
Capital of America. Here is the representative, Ilhan Omar. Today we're here in the fraud capital of America. We're here in Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. Here you have some of the best stock traders and top fraudsters like Ilhan Omar. Right now,
stock traders.
We're going to give her a new hoodie. She took the last Leering Center hoodie. We have a new one asking, where did our tax dollars go? And we want to see if she'll become a member of the Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. Now we've made it to Ilhan Omar's office. Here is the representative, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. There it says, abolish ICE. I think we should abolish fraud here inside the United States. Let's see if they'll take the hoodie. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? Is Ilhan here by chance?
No.
No, she's not. Well, we wanted to see if she'd become a member of the Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. We actually have a new hoodie for her right here. And we were just wondering if you could deliver this to Ilhan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And tell her that we wish to abolish fraud here inside the United States as well.
Thank you.
Will you do that? And also, I met this really cute British girl, and she wanted citizenship, and I was wondering like how that would work out. All right, they're calling security. You guys, you can go ahead and become a member of Anti-Fraud Taxpayer Club. Go to antifraudclub.com. You can even cop yourself a hoodie. And now let's leave Capitol Hill.
Dude, look at that thing. Look at it. Look at it.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? Is Ilhan here by?
Well, clearly not too well. Hasn't been too well in a long time by the looks of him.
We wish to abolish fraud here inside the United States.
Gross. Access set to speak at Rededicate 250. What's this? Some preliminary event? May 17th. Oh yeah, that whole Eric Swalwell thing. Whatever happened with all that? That disappeared real quick.
People are abusing power with Swalwell. It's this business. It's the sexual allegations. It's also alcohol deliveries. Apparently he had 100 alcohol deliveries with donor money from 2020 on. And some people say, oh, well, using donor money, there's a lot of wide latitude there. Maybe, but this is someone who continually and repeatedly abused power. I just want to quote his former chief of staff. He created a bodyguard of lies to protect himself and allow this behavior to continue. He's one of the world's greatest liars ever. People are abusing power with Swalwell. It's this business. It's the sexual allegations. It's also alcohol deliveries. Apparently he had 100 alcohol deliveries with donor money from 2020 on. And some people say, oh, well, using donor money, there's a lot of wide latitude there. Maybe.
Yeah. Not that much. Okay, nearly 2,000 teachers in Charlotte, North Carolina have requested to leave work to protest on May 1st.
We're taking the day.
Or what? To protest what?
Kannapolis City schools will be closed next Friday, May 1st, as teachers head up to Raleigh for a statewide rally. Educators and supporters are expected to call for increased public school funding and policy changes at
International Workers' Day, must be.
the Kids Over Corporations rally. Kannapolis City Schools says many teachers were taking the day off to attend the rally, so board members approved making that day an optional work day for staff. Kannapolis City schools will be closed next Friday, May 1st, as teachers head up to Raleigh for a statewide rally.
Ay, 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 ay. GOP Rep Tom Keene Jr. has been missing for weeks over mysterious health issues. Huh? Never heard of him. Hasn't provided an explanation for his absence. It's a little bit weird. Okay. Former Virginia delegate Nick Friedhouse explains in 4 minutes why Tuesday's gerrymandering ballot referendum broke multiple state laws. Oh, yeah.
Texas didn't.
The whole thing was just insane.
Violate the law when they decided to redistrict. Oklahoma didn't violate the law when they decided to redistrict. Virginia did. And here's what I mean by that. For those of you who don't know, in Virginia, whenever you try to change the Constitution, because, oh, by the way, in 2020, we voted. We voted on a ballot referendum, just like the one that just got voted on. We voted on it to say we no longer want politicians drawing the lines. And 65% of Virginians voted to say we want an independent or a quasi-independent commission to draw the line. So that's what we did. And the lines that were given to us were lines that probably slightly favored Democrats, but overall they weren't horrible. They weren't bad. Right?
Been
And again,
Virginia
it wasn't
for
politicians
forever.
drawing all the lines. And then you fast forward, and now Democrats are saying, no, now that we're in charge, we want to change it back, and we want to draw the lines, and we want to make Virginia the worst gerrymandered state in the country. Well, if you want to do that, you could, and here's what you would have done. During the normal legislative session, you would have submitted a resolution, a joint resolution, in order to offer a ballot referendum. And then that would have passed the House, it would have passed the Senate, and if it passed both bodies, then what would have happened is you would have had an intervening election. And then after that intervening election, you would have taken the exact same resolution with the exact same language, passed through the House, passed through the Senate. And then it would have gone to a ballot referendum that would have showed up on the ballot in November. That's what would have happened. So is that what happened this time? No. No, they didn't submit this during regular session. They actually called a special session, or they pulled us back into a special session. And they submitted this legislation, this resolution. Now, you could argue, well, okay, is that still within their purview? It would have been shady, but theoretically, yeah, you could have legally justified that, except for the fact that we had already started voting in that intervening election, which is supposed to take place between the resolution initially passing the legislature and then being resubmitted the following year. Over 1 million Virginians had already voted in the intervening election. I'm sorry, that's illegal. That's a violation. It was Democrats that said, we want to have 45 days of early voting. Republicans didn't say that. They did. And so we pointed out, it's like, okay, but the problem is you're supposed to have an election in between, and that election has already started. And they just said, no, it's election day. The whole reason you have an intervening election is so that citizens can be aware of what their legislature is trying to do with respect to changing the Constitution, and they can let their voices be heard if they don't like it. But if 1 million Virginians have already voted, you arguably have races that have already been decided. And so we pointed out this is a clear violation. They didn't care. We also pointed out that it is right there in Virginia law that the clerks of the court have to have 90 days before the intervening election to tell everybody what is going on. We were already within 90 days of the election when they decided to pass this. Another clear violation of Virginia law. And there was other things that were of concern as well. For instance, did you know that when you actually write the ballot question, you're supposed to use politically neutral language? You're not supposed to stack the deck in favor of one side or the other side. You're simply supposed to explain in very clear English what your legislation would do. But instead, they added this, hey, do you want to vote to restore fairness?
Restore fairness! Restore fairness! If you don't vote to restore fairness, well, you're unfair.
So let me get this straight. Everybody who voted no voted against restoring fairness? You're not even, it is illegal to use that language.
Yep.
And yet they did it.
Because they just expect they'll get away with it. Nuts, man. Oh, this guy, David, who was charged with the murder of some young girl, age 14. Oh, had a significant amount of child imagery on his cell phone.
David, they were in court.
But hey, you guys, he didn't do it.
Prosecution just dropped a bombshell in.
He was a good boy.
The murder case of the musician David. They were in court, preliminary hearing, and the prosecution said that there was a significant amount of child pornography on David's iPhone. Now, the hearing today was all about the evidence that the DA's team has managed to build, and the defense wants to see it. They say that David is innocent of the charges, that he did not murder 14-year-old Celeste, but every time there's a hearing, we're learning more about this case, and the DA says that David was sexually abusing Celeste as of September 2023, when she was barely 13 years old, just after she had turned 12. Now, they have another hearing scheduled for later this month, which means that if the judge says, hey, we move forward with the preliminary case, the DA is going to have to produce some of the evidence. That will become public. We will know much more exactly about what kind of evidence the prosecution has, maybe witnesses that they have been talking to, and what the allegations are specifically. But again, the defense maintains that they are pushing for a speedy trial, pushing for the prosecution to give them what they have, because they believe the evidence will not hold up in trial. Also, they have been angling for bail, because at this point, David is being held without any bail. He could face the death penalty if he's convicted, because he not only faces
If he didn't do it, he knows something. Knows who did.
Us in Mexico, here in Texas.
Illegal crossings fall into a 5-year, oh, pardon, I misread that, 55-year law.
While on the Rio Grande with Border Patrol, we did not see a single migrant. Less than 3 years ago, this section of the border was the epicenter of a dire humanitarian crisis.
Last time we were here at the U.S.-Mexico border near Eagle Pass, we saw hundreds of people, including families with young children, cross the Rio Grande to enter the country illegally. Now the border is extremely quiet.
We're seeing about 32 apprehensions a day.
So you went from thousands of people crossing
not bad
per day in this sector of the border to a few dozen, about 30 people a day.
Right.
Anthony Good is the head of Border Patrol 2 years ago.
Oh, darn you.
There was just piles of clothes. We had people cross.
Wow.
No.
And now people are being detained or deported.
Exactly. They're being detained or deported.
Manuel Melo's family has lived in Eagle Pass since 1916. He's been the city's fire chief for roughly a decade.
Have you ever seen the border this quiet?
No.
Wow.
No.
People are scared to come now, essentially.
Essentially, yes. Yes, I think that's basically the message, you come here, you're going to get deported. I truly believe in the immigration process. Should it be reformed? Yes, of course. Should people be treated with dignity? Yes, of course. Should criminals be deported? Yes, of course. But to get into the politics of it, I'd rather reserve myself on that.
Melo says there are now also fewer tragedies.
2 or 3 years ago, we were dealing with about probably between 3 and 6 drownings a day.
Per day?
Per day.
And now?
And now we're looking at maybe 1 drowning every 3 months.
Wow.
The politics of President Trump's immigration policies have played out much differently far away from the border. In major cities like Chicago and Minneapolis, where aggressive arrests of non-criminal immigrants and fatal shootings by federal agents have triggered intense backlash. 56% of Americans now disapprove of President Trump's handling of immigration. We met ranter Bayer Junfin to ask him about that backlash. In 2023, his land was filled with migrants and their belongings.
The situation here is night and day from 2 years ago.
There was just piles of clothes. We had people crossing on a daily basis.
Some would say the reason that very few people are crossing this river behind us is because the Trump administration has been too harsh on immigration. What do you think about that?
If harsh is doing things legally, then harsh it is, and harsh it must be.
The razor wire behind us, guys, symbolizes the Trump administration's aggressive zero-tolerance posture on illegal immigration, and without a doubt, it is deterring people from crossing this border behind us illegally.
Migrants now tell us that they're scared of coming here to the U.S., but critics of the president are asking at what cost, since his crackdown is also leading to the detention of people like the wife of that U.S. Army Sergeant, first class.
All right. Steve Hilton running for governor in Cali.
We obviously need change in California. The system is not working. I'm the only one here who has never run for office before. I'm not part of this system. These Democrats can't get it done. Matt Mahan talks about his record in San Jose. Actually, homelessness and crime are going up. Javier Becerra talks about his time in government. He thought it was a good idea to put masks on 2-year-olds. We need real change in California. We need to think different. We need to vote different. My plan to make our state Cal-affordable is real and serious, and we can get it done if we just vote differently this year.
Mr. Hilton, thank you.
All right. We obviously
Be one heck of a miracle.
Mesa wants to know, Ms. Porter, Toby from Costa Mesa wants to know, do you agree with schools not notifying parents if
Katie Porter, gross,
their child identifies as a different gender? You have 30 seconds.
It is between a parent and a child when a child chooses to have that conversation. The job of our educators is to teach them to read by 3rd grade. That is a really important benchmark to help them make the jump from Algebra 1 to Algebra 2, which opens the door to higher paying jobs. These are conversations for kids and parents to have with each other and their healthcare providers. This is not a role for schools to be policing personal decisions.
Ms. Porter, thank you. Mr. Mahan, Ms. Porter, Toby from Costa Mesa wants to know, do you agree with schools not notifying parents
Leading Democratic candidate for governor of California is asked a simple question about whether you ought to be required to know English when getting a commercial driver's license.
Porter, same question. Do you believe that English proficiency,
this should be interesting.
language proficiency should be strictly enforced for truck drivers? You have 60 seconds.
I would absolutely fight the Trump administration because the job of the California governor is to protect
Unfucking believable.
Californians. And right now, that includes protecting them from Donald Trump. Protecting Californians also includes enforcing traffic laws. And we've seen sometimes a need for oversight in California. For example, we have seen that the Department of Motor Vehicles was not enforcing rules around DUIs and drivers who had convictions for that. I am stunned that Mr. Bianco would say to Black and brown Californians and immigrants who are being terrorized and racially profiled that you have to get over racism. It's not something that you get over, it's something that you fight. And if he doesn't understand the importance of that, he has no business representing a state with the diversity of California.
Ms. Porter, thank you very much. Mr. Bianco, I'll give you 15 seconds to respond.
Yeah, again, that's not even close to what I said. What I said is Californians, and I'm speaking for them, especially from law enforcement, when I deal with persons of color every single day, Californians are absolutely sick and tired of our politicians making race the basis of everything. It is not. And this racial divide that they are pushing between law enforcement and the public, or Democrat and Republican, absolutely has to stop. And I'm telling you, we are sick of it.
Interesting. Wonder how this crop will do this time around in Cali.
Who jumped out to you in a positive or negative way?
Well, I especially love hearing from Becerra to deny Swalwell's allegation that he was also our former attorney general and
Xavier Becerra,
a disastrous attorney general at that in California. Steyer was an absolute, he's sitting there blaming President Trump for the affordability crisis in California, except we've been dealing with this
Yeah, wait, who's been governor again?
affordability crisis long before President Trump. So none of them had solutions. They all are pointing the finger at President Trump. The only solution-driven candidate there is Steve Hilton. The Democrats are never going to give us a solution in California, Todd. Never.
Who jumped out to you in a positive?
No, they will not.
The U.S. military guy who's like spilling secrets.
There's this guy, Andrew Hugg, the U.S. Military guy who's like spilling secrets about the United States military, the United States government, the United States like nuclear program, everything. He's telling her about military weapons, plans, surveillance, top secret, sensitive nuclear information, spilling all those secrets over like what drinks at the bar at a pretty girl, like to an undercover journalist. Men will see a pretty girl and all of a sudden everything will come right out of their mouth and get this on a first date.
He even asks her, "You're not a spy, are you?"
This dude literally just like starts spilling everything to a rando in a crowded place. Straight
Yes, randos. Yep, they do that.
up sensitive, top secret nuclear information.
I mean, these people have such a big ego, but they're also
Yeah, they do.
so fucking incompetent.
If your hot date is overly into your job, that's not your date, okay? It's James O'Keefe. There's this.
That's great. FBI delivering a major blow to Mexican mafia. 43 gangsters with ties arrested.
The FBI and 7 local SWAT teams are arresting 45 suspects from around
In California.
Orange County, 66 felony counts, drug dealing, kidnapping, assault, extortion, and murder. All suspects then brought to the Santa Ana police station for processing. And here's what's fascinating about the indictment. One, the Mexican Mafia is known as the gang of gangs because all Latino gang members, Latin Kings, Sureños, East Siders, doesn't matter, ultimately all answer to the Mexican Mafia. Yep. And while it is a prison gang, all the associates you see here on the outside still answer to one person behind bars. Finally, Mexican Mafia has nothing to do with Mexico. It was formed in the 50s by Mexican
Who's the Lard? Is he one of them?
American inmates, and now it is the most powerful gang in this state with thousands of Latino gangbangers following their orders.
A lot of the crimes are stem from narcotics, street sales, drug trafficking, extortion, up to robberies, assaults, and murders.
In this area, the main shot caller is Luis Cardenas, a.k.a. Tia, or Gangster, serving 25 to life for bludgeoning a man to death at a pizza parlor in 2004. He is serving time in 2 state prisons where associates smuggle in contraband on cell phones, right, allowing those to be used by him to encrypted or with encrypted apps. And then he would tell people on the outside what drugs to buy and where, what businesses to extort, who gets beat with a hammer until they pay their taxes.
The Mexican Mafia is a very unique organization. All the hierarchy are in prison. So the inmates in prison run the operation from inside behind bars, and they exert control over neighborhood street gangs, Hispanic street gangs.
So this investigation required a lot of wiretaps and confidential informants. And Sandra, the reason you pay your taxes, one, is it allows you to keep the mafia, allows you to keep your territory there for your income. But secondly, if you're sent to jail or prison, now you have protection from the mafia. And without that, it's probably not too pleasant.
Shockingly similar to what the SPLC does. What? UK agrees ban on cigarette sales for people born after 2008. Cigarettes are gay, but that's gayer. That's like turbo gay.
Dakota, and we have a real treat for you this morning. We got to go on top of not one but 2 different mountain carvings and a chance to see Mount Rushmore in a way that few people have ever seen it.
It's America's shrine of democracy, attracting more than 2 million visitors to South Dakota every year. But there's a hidden side of Mount Rushmore. Behind the enormous granite faces, an unfinished piece of history that few have ever seen up close.
We have to be very careful.
Show us the inside.
What we show you on our journey. This is a highly secure federal area.
We got special permission, rarely granted, to take the steep journey to the summit.
We're on our way to the top of Mount Rushmore.
Cool.
There's no real path here. We're just going higher and higher.
Up top, a view that just takes your breath away.
Oh, I bet.
Wow. I mean, this is just incredible.
Neat. What?
We've got Abraham Lincoln's nose right over there.
That's so cool.
Escorting us is Blaine Cordam.
You can see the like the carving work.
Every year he repels over the faces to inspect.
That is so cool.
For cracks.
The hair.
Does it ever get old for you to be up here?
Never.
Never. We're on top of Mount Rushmore.
In 2005, Blaine was part of a team to actually power wash Mount Rushmore, a first.
What did that feel like?
Wow.
Exceptional experience. Once in a lifetime.
Wow, look at how much of a difference it makes. There's the excuse me, the unwashed on the front and the washed portion over here. That's crazy.
Lifetime.
No guardrails up here.
George Washington's head, but we cannot get too close to the edge because that is a very steep drop.
And behind the heads, the hidden remains of that unfinished project, the Hall of Records.
Hey, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
This was going to be the place that stored America's most treasured documents, the Bill of Rights.
Yep. When are we going to finish that shit, man?
The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Gettysburg Address. We're all going to be here on display.
They dug this tunnel into solid granite while the heads were still being
incredible idea.
Carved. Not finished, but under here, something added in 1998.
Oh, what?
Beneath that capstone, a titanium vault that holds a teak wood box. In it, a time capsule for the ages, containing copies of America's founding documents.
Oh, nice.
Etched in porcelain.
Excellent. That's cool. What's the quote here? Excuse me. Let us place there, carved high, as close to heaven as we can, the words of our leaders, their faces, to show posterity what manner of men they were. Then breathe a prayer that these records will endure until the wind and the rain alone shall wear them away.
Containing copies of America's founding documents etched in porcelain. Mount Rushmore sits in the heart of the Black Hills in what was sacred territory for the Lakota Sioux, illegally taken by the United States before the 1880 gold rush. The Lakota story is being carved in stone 20 miles from Rushmore, a memorial to Crazy Horse, the great Lakota warrior who defeated Custer.
So Crazy Horse was a young warrior. He led one of the greatest defeats.
Is it me or is that thing a little bit
for the Lakota people in the Battle of Greasy Grass, also known
just a little
as the Battle of Little Bighorn?
I'm walking on what will be Crazy Horse's outstretched arm, his index finger over there pointing to his native tribal lands. The scale is immense. When this mountain carving is done, it will be 30 times the surface area of Mount Rushmore.
Oh, wow.
Constructed on private land without a penny of government funds, work on Crazy Horse began in 1948.
Even though there are
it's been going for a long time.
Challenging and struggling times of our ancestors, we today are still here. Our culture still exists, and I think that's a big part. So when people visit all over the world, they want to learn more about the original people of this land, and so here at Crazy Horse Memorial, we get to showcase that.
Two memorials carved in stone, both central to America's story.
It was a thrill and
It's pretty neat. Bomb squad detonates a bomb in Long Island after police stumbled on the explosives while investigating a 15-year-old student over a swastika. Nassau County police visited the teen's home after he allegedly drew a swastika at his high school. When police arrived at the home, they allegedly discovered chemicals that had been combined to make explosives. After finding the bombs, the bomb squad shut down the street and was forced to destroy the bombs and control demolitions. But the son and his father, one 48-year-old Francisco Sanles, were arrested. Dada's credit card was apparently used to purchase the chemicals, being held on $100,000 bail. It is bizarre. Very bizarre. Definitely want to know more. The Mall of Louisiana has been evacuated after active shooting incident. What happened? Boy. Missed this one. Multiple people seen lying in the food court. 6 injured, 2 critical. Victims seen being carried out on stretchers. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. It didn't look too good.
Two groups of people got into an argument. It looks like it was kind of a targeted. Two groups of people got into an argument inside the food court and started shooting at each other. Unfortunately, there were some innocent people that were in the area that might
go figure.
have also caught some rounds. Right now, we have 10 victims at local.
Caught some rounds. Caught them.
Area hospitals, some transported by EMS and some arriving by private vehicle. Definitely our hearts and prayers go out to all the victims involved in this, various level of injuries, and we're going to keep giving y'all updates as we get them.
How many critical, Chief?
Right now we don't know. We have at least a couple of them that are in trauma going through surgery, so we don't have an exact number right now. We'll give you those numbers as soon as they become available.
Parking lots still full of vehicles. Are you still working to get customers, people who were in the mall at the time, out of the mall?
Yeah, so as we get some resources kind of freed up, we're still going through the mall, making sure we don't have people that lock down and hide and make sure that they're safe and okay, and we're going to start trying to just evacuate the whole area. We had a big crime scene set up in case suspects were on feet in the area, looking in canals. We got helicopter, drones, all those kind of resources. So we had everything locked down, not wanting anybody to leave, but we're going to start opening that up as soon as we can.
Sounds like at least one has passed away. Trump participating in healthcare affordability event today. A few hours back. I missed this.
17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, representing 80% of...
Oh, no, I did see something about this. Regeneron, yeah. This was, sounds like potentially quite an announcement.
The branded drug market have now agreed to sell their drugs to American patients at the lowest prices anywhere in the world. We're going to have the lowest prices in the world. This will result in the largest drop in prescription drug prices in the history of the United States of America. I mean, it should be front page news, but it won't be. It'll be back on page 19, but the people get it. That's why we're in the Oval Office, I guess. With this announcement, 17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, representing 80% of the branded drug market, have now agreed to sell their drugs to American patients at the lowest prices anywhere in the world. We're going to have the lowest prices in the world. This will result in the largest drop in prescription drug prices in the history of the United States of America. I mean, it should be front page news, but it won't be. It'll be back on page 19, but the people get it. That's why we're in the Oval Office, I guess. With this announcement, 17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, representing 80% of the branded drug market, have now agreed to sell their drugs to American patients. I'm also announcing that the FDA has just approved a new drug from Regeneron called Otarmany, a gene therapy curing a rare disease that causes deafness. You know, people are totally deaf, and it's amazing. I've seen some work on it. It's actually hard to believe. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Normally, cures for rare diseases
Interesting.
Can cost millions of dollars, and really the results aren't that good.
So not full-blown curing deafness, sure, but a rare form of it caused by a specific mutation.
But in this case, I'm pleased to say that Regeneron will be giving this away for free for a period of time, for free. And here with us is 2-year-old Travis Smith. He was born deaf. Was he totally deaf? Pretty much, right?
100%.
This is 100%. He was 100% deaf, but he took this miracle cure, and now he can hear his mom, Sierra,
I don't know if you heard that.
say, I love you. Today, I'm also announcing that the FDA has just approved a new drug from Regeneron. Building on our unprecedented success with Regeneron, committing to offer all new drugs moving forward at most favored nations prices. They'll make their current drugs available to Medicaid and MFN. That's most favored nation. Additionally, they'll also offer their current drug, Praluent, which is the lower cholesterol and fight heart disease to all consumers at dramatically lower cost. It'll come down from $537 to $225 and be available at TrumpRx.gov. I didn't put the name. Bobby did and Oz did. It's true, actually. Remember, I came in, I said, what's this?
You like
they
the
said,
name?
it'll be better. It'll sell better. Would you help us? So I now have my name on medication. But it's doing
Oh my gosh.
great. I hear it's setting records, actually. I was watching the other day, and Mark Cuban, of all people,
Yeah.
said, it's amazing what Trump has done with this. I can't believe when I heard him say that, I was sort of in a state of shock. But others have said it too. This whole
Well,
thing
it's mostly because he owns a pharmaceutical company and is probably making money off of it somehow. But that's Mark Cuban for you.
turned out to be hot. So that's TrumpRx.gov. The company will also invest $27 billion to build up research and development and pharmaceutical manufacturing here in America, which is a big thank you very much.
Absolutely incredible. Regeneron works miracles. Yeah, he didn't know his name. He couldn't hear me tell him how much I love him. And now with Regeneron and this amazing surgery, he can listen to music, and he loves it, and he loves to dance, and he loves instruments, and I'm so proud of him.
Oh, listen to him. Huh.
He's been so brave through all of this, and yeah, now he can hear, and he has a bright future ahead of him, and I'm so thankful to everybody on the Regeneron team.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, even the fake news has to be impressed with this. They'll find a way to make it a bad story. He doesn't hear perfectly, but he actually does. It's about 1% off. They'll figure a way. How are you going to do it? You got to explain. No, they're genius. They are genius. I respect them a lot. But I just want to thank you, Sierra. That's incredible. Your family.
Thank you for having us.
He's a beautiful person, too. That's a beautiful boy.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
His life is a happier life?
Oh, yeah, he is so full of energy and love now. And he was such a serious
So you see
baby.
such a difference.
Yeah, he was such a serious baby.
And before that,
fun.
it's very tough for...
Oh, for sure. He can't tell me what he wants or what he wants to eat or what he needs. And now he'll be able to do that. And
Wow.
it's life-changing.
That's a great job they've done. For doing their part to bring down the cost of health care for all Americans under our Most Favored Nations agreement. We've secured gigantic discounts with price differences from 4 to 5 and even 600%. 600%. One of the most popular weight loss drugs has gone from $1,350 a month to as low as $199 a month. So that's a price that's incredible. So it used to sell in London for $87, and they raised it to $199, which is a big raise if you know, from 87 to 199. But that's been going on. Our country's been being ripped off for 30 years. How long would you say, Doug? Like 30, 40 years. For years with drugs and drug prices. So they're going up. We're going way down. and because the world is a bigger place than we are, believe it or not, it's hard to believe that, but they are, that we go down much more than they go up. So they don't go up as much as people would have thought. So they're going from, they're going to 199, and we're going down all the way down. Think of that. We're going down from $1,350 a month to $199. That's, nobody would believe it. And this is true with all. I mean, this is the weight loss drug, but this is true with all drugs. Sometimes even more of a difference than that, sometimes a little bit less, but sometimes substantially more than even that difference, and you see what that is. So we cut the per cycle cost of IVF drugs by thousands of dollars, and we reduced the price of the major COPD medication from $458 to $50. What? That must be a typo.
What?
Is that a typo? From $458 to $50. If your boy was here, he'd go, wow. He left. He got bored. I think he got a little bored. He wants to go into bigger and better things, but there's nothing bigger or better than this. They'll all be available right now at trumprx.gov. So it's, you know, that's why it's doing well. It's not doing well for other reasons. It's doing well. Think of that. That's some discount. But we have others. And these are all top companies and top medications, and I think in the end we're going to have every company involved. We're almost there right now, but we're going to have every company involved. So Trump RX has already received more than 15 million visitors, and every American should log on to check for massive discounts before they go to the pharmacy. It's setting a record. Nobody's ever seen anything like this.
Oof. Excuse me.
Secretary Kennedy, Secretary Lutnick, Commissioner Macri, Administrator Oz, and I guess Superstar Klum. Yes. Thanks for having us here on behalf of all of Regeneron. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Len Schleifer, President and CEO of Regeneron, and with me is Dr. George Yancopoulos, President and Chief Scientific Officer of Regeneron. And together, well, I should pause there. I just realized something. I'm a president, he's a president, and all three of us grew up in Queens, New York. That's right. So there's something maybe that was going on back then that was good. I'm not sure about now. So anyway, together we founded, George and I founded Regeneron, and have built it over the past 4 decades. Today we are here. We were not pushed to be here. We are happy to be here because it marks an important step to lower drug prices. We've been arguing for more than a decade that other wealthy nations have been getting a free ride on American innovation. Just like in defense, but they've been getting in health defense a free ride. And now President Trump is putting policies in place to force these nations to pay their fair share, which will in turn lower prices for Americans. It's a good deal. But we have to remember this is just the beginning. The most important battle we all face is disease itself. We have to recognize how hard this fight is. For most major diseases that you or your loved one might suffer from, like Alzheimer's disease, to cancers, to genetic diseases, we are very far away from a cure. And we have to understand that discovering cures is perhaps the hardest scientific challenge humans undertake. Much harder than getting to the moon, not that we don't like that, but much harder than even getting to Mars or making the next generation of cell phones or electric cars. Hard like staring into the unknown for years, sometimes decades, with no guarantee that anything you're doing will ever make a difference for somebody like Travis. Regeneron is a great example of both the difficulty of the challenge, but also of the potential reward. We spent 25 years and billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars before we produced our first important medicine or even earned our first profit. Maybe we should have been or might have been fired, but we stuck with it. Our relentless commitment.
Boy, they had to do some back scratching to get this commercial.
Commitment to disruptive innovation ultimately turned us into one of the most productive biotechnology companies in history. We have produced thanks to George and his team, new medicines at the rate of about one important medicine a year for the last 15 years, including truly miraculous advances impacting millions of lives. And we have two people here who are living proof. Mr. President, when you were ill with COVID, it was Regeneron's monoclonal cocktail.
Okay. I gotta go hit the restroom. Quick. This one on the longer side. Okay, well, I guess we'll do that one.
President mentioned,
there.
Now, as the president mentioned, we've negotiated the 17th of 17 agreements. This represents 86% of the branded pharmaceutical drug market in the United States. But anyone who knows us knows that we're not done. That's a milestone. It's not the finish line. And so we have three core objectives that are next up. Number one, and this is already underway, we are negotiating with the many hundreds of biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies representing that other 14% that are building the cures for tomorrow. To all those who are listening, I hope that we have proven that we are credible and reliable and trustworthy partners. We want to sit with you. We will listen to you. We will take the time to understand your businesses, not only as we negotiate on behalf of every American family for affordability, but also to ensure that you're best positioned to create the cures for tomorrow. Second, we continue our work on negotiating international trade agreements. 59 days after we stood in this office and President Trump, standing with Albert Bourla from Pfizer, announced the first of the 17 MFN deals, together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Lutnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer, we negotiated a landmark agreement with the government of the United Kingdom in which they agreed to increase significantly the amount that they spend on branded pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries. And third, we will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these most favored nation deals so that these savings for American families and this innovation that is unleashed at the same time persists for decades to come. So that the 1 in 3 or 4 families that Dr. Oz mentioned standing at a pharmaceutical counter or pharmacy counter right now wrestling with the decision that no family should have to make of whether or not they can pick up their prescription because they can't afford it will no longer be the case. And at the same time, we know that there are roughly 20,000 known diseases in the world, and we have a treatment or a cure for fewer than a quarter of those. And so this president and his policies is not only safeguarding affordability for American families, but is ensuring that we continue to bet on American exceptionalism. We bet on innovation. We bet on the principles that have taken us to this place in 250 years for the next 250 years.
All right. Oop. Come on now.
Today is another promise made, promise kept day. On December 18th, you signed an executive order on increasing medical marijuana and cannabidiol research, and today we delivered on that promise. The acting attorney general this morning signed an order that moves into Schedule 3 medical marijuana products that are FDA approved or that are state licensed. This is a giant move forward to implement your promise, and it's actually a campaign promise that you made. You said we're going to move into Schedule 3 to increase the research on these medical products, and just wanted everyone to know that 1, you make promises, you keep them, and 2, what does Schedule 3 mean for state licensed medical marijuana products? We will begin implementation right away of this order. It does not legalize marijuana. It makes it easy for the researchers to actually study and understand medical marijuana, especially in populations that are using it. We know that 1 in 10 seniors right now use medical marijuana in the past year, and they report that it really helps them, but we don't have the science or the understanding to guide the patients and the doctors, and so both patients and doctors are flying blind without knowing how they interact with other medications because the research has been difficult to do. And so your promise today says those state licensed medical marijuana products are now in Schedule III, and we expect the research to significantly increase so that we can understand how to guide patients and doctors in this effort. And there will be additional actions that will come this summer to do an expedited hearing for the administrative hearing of the Department of Justice for all of marijuana to move into Schedule 3.
Huh. Interesting. Open up the way for testing and such.
When they do in partnership with Bobby Kennedy and Memonaz and the whole team, when they do Most Favored Nation, we also ask the company to reshore and build their drugs here in America, because too many of our drugs, our key drugs for our health, are being made overseas, and in a conflict we can't rely upon them. And I'm honored to say that our partners from Regeneron have agreed to reshore their production of pharmaceutical drugs, and this is exactly from your pharmaceutical tariffs. That's the point. So that means $448 billion of drug manufacturing is coming to America because of your tariffs, because of your pharmaceutical strategy. And we are proud to invite Regeneron to do this giant build in America, and all the rest of the pharmaceutical companies. They've committed to build in America.
I know his name. He couldn't hear me tell him how much I love him. And now with Regeneron and this amazing surgery, he can listen to music, and he loves it, and he loves to dance, and he loves instruments, and I'm so proud of him. He's been so brave through all of this, and yeah, now he can hear. And
It's a surgery and some kind of drug, substance, therapy. Eric Swalwell's wife breaks cover at Lux Mexican Resort, a resort town where billionaire Dem donor owns a villa. Which one? His old, Klubik? Yep, it's Klubik. Klubik! Brittany Watts, seeing right there. Oh, wow. Here we go. That does not look like a happy face to me. It looks like one that's been possibly crying. Ay, ay, ay. Police responding to a reported shooting at the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge.
And we're following breaking news out of Louisiana, where multiple people have been shot at a mall in Baton Rouge. CBS affiliate in Baton Rouge reports police are saying 2 people are in critical condition. At least 6 people may have been taken to the hospital. The shooter is believed to have gotten away. Now, both the FBI and ATF have released statements saying agents from each agency are on the way to the scene. And we're following breaking news out of Louisiana, where multiple people have been shot at a mall in
Oh, this is great.
So Josh came to me and goes, Dan, I got this on my phone. I got some kind of like undercover footage at an SPLC meeting I infiltrated years ago. I was like, really? I said, I need to see that. So courtesy of Josh, here's some undercover footage of a Southern Poverty Law Center meeting he got into years ago. This is just crazy, man. Check this out.
Power, Colin Powell, Conolangus rice. Conolangus rice sounds like a Mexican dish. Maybe we should put her on a plate and send her to Mexico so the Mexicans will eat her. Just open up your heart and let that hate out.
Yeah.
Show us your face. We want to see your face. Who said that? You want to see my face? Clayton, go on, brother. Do you want to see my face? Don't be afraid, Jason. We talking about this. Don't be afraid.
Of course, that is not Josh.
Classic episode, that is. Excellent episode. One of the best. Clayton Bigsby. Okay, oh yeah. They're putting it out for free, huh? Not surprised. Tourists climbing an active volcano in Guatemala flee for their lives as the volcano suddenly erupts. What the shit, dude? No. Heck no, man.
No hagan eso, por gente así es que... ¿Dónde está vos? Se lo voló, mucha. Uy, todavía está ahí. ¡Ah, mierda!
Wow, literally at the precipice, dude. He saw it like... That is some wild video footage. Golly, can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
¡Ah, mierda!
Yeah, wow. Okay, a mother in Orange County, California has been charged with... What? Has been charged after her 14-year-old son allegedly hit and critically injured an 81-year-old man with his e-bike. Oh, them things kill people, dude. They go fast. They're no
mom
joke.
has been charged for what prosecutors say were her teenage son's crimes. According to the Orange County District Attorney, a 14-year-old illegally riding an e-motorcycle hit an 81-year-old Vietnam veteran and left him critically injured. And
wow.
Now, prosecutors say the teen was riding an e-motorcycle doing wheelies when he struck the man identified as Ed Ashman, a substitute teacher and Vietnam vet. What makes this case especially serious, according to prosecutors, is that they say that the mother had already been warned. The DA says sheriff's deputies spoke with her back in June of 2025, told her that her son could not legally ride that vehicle, and warned that she could face criminal charges if she continued to allow it. Prosecutors say that interaction was actually captured on body-worn camera. According to the DA, this was not a standard low-speed e-bike. Investigators say it was a 2025 Surin Ultra B, which is capable of speeds of up to 58 miles per hour. And
oh yeah, they're no joke.
Classified for legal purposes as a motor-driven cycle, or essentially, we're talking motorcycle, which would require licensing, registration, insurance, and proper equipment for street use. So, the takeaway here is very blunt. According to the Orange County prosecutors, if a parent knowingly allows a child to ride an illegal, high-powered e-motorcycle on public streets, that parent can be charged too.
Now that's pretty crazy, but still. OpenAI being investigated after Florida prosecutors say an accused school shooter used ChatGPT to gather information before his alleged attack. Oh yeah. Asked for advice.
And a mass shooting. OpenAI is under a state criminal investigation. This is after a review of messages between its AI chatbot, ChatGPT, and a man accused of fatally shooting 2 people last year at Florida State University. CBS News obtained access to the logs, and there are thousands of messages between ChatGPT and the suspected gunman, Phoenix Eichner, who was then a 20-year-old FSU student. In one disturbing interaction, Eichner asks ChatGPT how many shooting victims it would take to be covered by the media, even following up with, what about 3 plus at FSU? ChatGPT responded, yes, a shooting at Florida State University involving 3 or more victims would almost certainly receive national media coverage. According to the log, Eichner also asked ChatGPT about the busiest time at the student union, where the deadly shooting later took place. This week, the Florida attorney...
Wow.
General James Uthmeyer said his team determined that ChatGPT offered, quote, significant advice to the alleged shooter.
My prosecutors have looked at this, and they've told me if it was a person on the other end of that screen, we would be charging them with murder.
Florida
Ooh.
has issued subpoenas to OpenAI requesting records on how the company handles threats and cooperates with law enforcement. In a statement to CBS News on Tuesday, OpenAI said, quote, last year's mass shooting at Florida State University was a tragedy, but ChatGPT is not responsible for this terrible crime. OpenAI also said it shared an account believed to be associated with Eichner with law enforcement, but CBS still hasn't received an answer about when that happened.
After. Virginia Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in the redistricting case this Monday, April 27th. Referendum is widely expected to be upheld.
Ordering results to not be certified. The judge called the ballot language flagrantly misleading. What's your reaction? Ken Cuccinelli, he's a Republican. Ken, good to see you. So first, I guess let's get to the breaking news. This judge in Southern Virginia ordering results to not be certified. The judge called the ballot language flagrantly misleading.
It was.
What's your reaction?
Well, it certainly was flagrantly misleading, but my basic reaction is that I appreciate lower court wins, but the Virginia Supreme Court is going to decide this. And to Terry's point about, well, hey, if they didn't decide it before, there's a reason the Supreme Court held off until after the vote. Over 100 years of Virginia legal precedent says that the vote in a referendum is part of the legislative process. It's analogous to a governor signing a bill. You don't sue on a bill that hasn't passed yet. So what they've done here in terms of timing is very much in keeping with the Virginia legal history. What isn't in keeping with Virginia legal history is how this General Assembly has so blatantly ignored the requirements of the Constitution to amend the Constitution. So I think it's highly likely that this will be overturned probably in May.
So CNN's Manu Raju pressed Speaker Johnson today about some of the criticism from Republicans that the Republican Party, did not spend enough money to fight the Democratic measure. Take a listen.
Republicans have spent more money. Trump didn't barely touch his super PAC money. Should you guys have spent more money?
We don't know the final result, but the president's team spent a lot. We put in overall tens of millions of dollars on the ballot initiative.
I mean, given the fact that the margin was much more narrow than a lot of Democrats anticipated, what do you think? Did Republicans miss a chance here?
Well, there's no question that the 3 or 4 to 1 spending difference was the margin. You know, when all the votes are counted, this will be about a 2 or 3 point win for the yes side. That is, it's hard to say that money didn't make that difference, but now they have to win 4 constitutional challenges, state constitutional to clarify, challenges, and they have to win all 4 of them to hold on to this referendum. I just don't think they can do it. There's some very basic processes in the Constitution for amending the Constitution that they ignored. And now they're going to say, just like Terry did, well, 3 million people voted and you can't ignore the will of the people. Well, they were ignoring the will of the people and how they brought this forward. And now we're going to have it decided by the Virginia Supreme Court. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7-0 ruling throwing this out.
All right, to be continued. Former Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, thank you so much.
One second. Okay. IRS announces plans to revise nonprofit Form 990 filings to require disclosure of fiscal sponsorships. Excuse me. This is a big deal. Liberal dark money networks, including Tides Foundation and Arabella, have for decades exploited fiscal sponsorships to effectively operate in the shadows. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Prince Harry made a surprise visit to Kiev for some reason, calling on the U.S. to show stronger leadership in supporting Ukraine.
Prince Harry has a message for the United States. He just spoke at a conference here in Kyiv, Ukraine, during a surprise visit, and he called on the U.S. to do more to support Ukraine.
This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations.
He pointed to one issue that he said shows why, with everything going on in the world, this is the conflict that deserves America's attention. Since the beginning of the war, tens of thousands of Ukrainian children have been forcibly deported to Russia.
President Putin, no nation benefits from the continued loss of life we are witnessing. There is still a moment now to stop this war.
Harry said that this could be described as genocide, and that this is the moment for America to stand up for international law, not out of charity, but out of its enduring commitment to global security.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not collateral damage. This is not the chaos of war spilling over. This is organized, systemic, intentional, and designed to endure long after the fighting stops. I am not here as a politician. I am here as a soldier who understands service, as a humanitarian who has seen the human cost of conflict, and as a friend of Ukraine who believes the world must not grow used to this war or numb to its consequences. The world sees you, and the world respects you.
Okay, Prince Harry.
Prince Harry.
Oh, there's more.
Prince Harry today has said that he would like to see you do more to end the war in Ukraine. Do you think it's appropriate for a royal to make those comments ahead of the visit on Monday?
Prince Harry?
Yes, sir.
How's he doing? How's his wife? Please give him my regards, okay? No, I don't know. I know one thing. Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK.
Prince Harry today has said that he would like to see you do more to end the war in Ukraine.
So true. Man. I won't even get into that AI bullshit. President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, Vice President of the United States, this is Trump speaking here. Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, Ambassador to Lebanon, Michael Issa, met today with high-ranking representatives of Israel and Lebanon in the Oval Office. The meeting went very well. The United States is going to work with Lebanon in order to help it protect itself from Hezbollah. The ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon will be extended by 3 weeks. I look forward to, in the near future, hosting the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and the President of Lebanon, Joseph Aoun. It was a great honor to be a participant at this very historic meeting.
Lebanon, and
here he is commenting on this.
We had a great meeting with the very high officials of Lebanon and very high officials of Israel, and we think that the President of Lebanon and the Prime Minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here. They've agreed to an additional 3 weeks of no firing, ceasefire, no more firing. Let's see. We hope that happens. It's not going to happen between them, but they do have Hezbollah to think about. And we're going to be working with Lebanon to get things straightened out in that country. I really believe it's something we can do pretty easily, just with the power of who we are. They're great people, the Lebanese people. We have our ambassador here who has done a fantastic job. Ambassador to Lebanon from the United States. And we had a great conversation, and I think it's the beginning of something very important. It'd be a wonderful thing to get this worked out simultaneously with what we're doing in Iran.
congratulations. Well, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to you and our Secretary of State, but most importantly, congratulations to the people of Israel and Lebanon. I think it's a major historic moment. We're going to extend the ceasefire for 3 weeks that's already in place between Israel and Lebanon. Of course, it wouldn't have happened without the president's direct engagement. The fact that you have these leaders of different countries coming together for the first time, they came together in the Oval Office, and they came together because of energetic diplomacy, of course, led by the President of the United States. So I think it's a big moment for the world. It's a big moment for our country, but just very proud to be a part of it. So thank you, sir, for making it happen. Well, first of all, congrats.
I'd like to thank the President. I would like to thank the President, the Vice President.
Michel Issa, Ambassador to Lebanon.
President and Secretary to make this historical meeting today that bring two countries that they've never been next to each other more than today in a way. This is 60, 70 years in the making, and today is really a historical day. Thank you, Mr. President, Vice President, Secretary, and we are going to keep going, working for a peace that hopefully we'll get it as soon as possible. I would
An amazing opportunity to be here.
Oh.
Mr. President, what an amazing opportunity to be here at a moment of history. The people of Lebanon, the people of Israel are neighbors, and they want to get along. They can get along. But it's like neighbors who have a rough little kid living in the neighborhood who keeps throwing rocks at everybody's window. And if the kid will quit throwing rocks, the neighbors can get along and start actually working together. The president has initiated something that is truly bringing the neighborhood back to a neighborhood and recognizing that the problem is not Lebanon and the problem is not Israel. The problem is Hezbollah, the bad little kid throwing rocks. That's what the president is getting launched today to get
Well, I guess we'll see if the problems stop, won't we?
That little kid out of the neighborhood. Mr. President.
I hope so.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, come on now.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for your hospitality, for bringing Israel and Lebanon together here in the Oval Office. Israel wants peace with Lebanon, and Israel wants security for its citizens. And we're united with the Lebanese government in wanting to rid the country of this malign influence called Hezbollah. And now that, Mr. President, under your leadership, Iran has been so degraded, the possibility of degrading Hezbollah and liberating Lebanon from their occupation is real. So we hope that together under your leadership, we can formalize peace between Israel and Lebanon in the very near future. And we are just very thankful for the opportunity. Well, thank
DOJ has charged a U.S. Special Forces soldier, oh man, for profiting $400,000 by betting on his own mission, the capture of Nicolas Maduro. Wow. Was that one reported? The insider trading on that one? Hasn't been the only one. Definitely been others. This involved a U.S. soldier who allegedly took advantage of his position to profit off of a righteous military operation. Investigation ongoing. Polymarket says insider trading has no place on Polymarket. That is questionable. I'm sure one could make the argument that the entire point of Polymarket is insider trading, but you know, whatever.
And Israel, do you think the peace between Lebanon and Israel, do you think it will happen this year?
I think it has a great chance. I mean, you know, they're friends about the same things and they're enemies on the same things, and it has to do with, I guess you could say, a couple of countries, but certainly it's, if you look at Hezbollah, that's where everybody seems to be united against them. So they are both very united in that way. You know, I think there's a very good chance of having peace. I think it should be an easy one. Relative to some of the things we're working on, it should be an easy one. But it's been so many years because nobody focused on it. But Lebanon was a great country. It was a beautiful country.
That's
smart
true.
people, very brilliant people, doctors, professors, economists.
As was Iran.
Some of the smartest people on the planet. but it got torn apart by different factions and nothing having to do with them, outside factors. So I think it can be brought back pretty quickly.
The peace between Lebanon and Israel, do you think it will happen this year?
Ambassador Nader Hamedeh Mawad of the Lebanese embassy.
Moment. I want to really say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, President Trump. Thank you for your leadership, for making sure to be presiding over this historic moment. I want to really say thank you to the United States under your leadership for all your effort to help and to support Lebanon. And I think with your help, with your support, we can make Lebanon great again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, President.
With the blockade is amazing. What we've done with the blockade is amazing, and nobody gets through, and nobody wants to get through. Nobody's trying. The one tried; they shut out the engine, but nobody's trying. We have complete control. Now they can drop their mines in there and do all those stupid things. It's just going to take longer for them to make money because the mines are going to affect them much more than they're going to affect us. But and we don't know that they're doing that, but they could be that they're doing that. If they're doing it, it's a very foolish thing to do. What we've done with the blockade is.
It is.
The U.S. has told them nothing from the U.S. has told them they can't come. I mean, the problem with Iran, it would be not their athletes. It would be some of the other people that would want to bring with them, some of whom have ties to the IRGC. We may not be able to let them in, but not the athletes themselves. But I don't know where that's coming from, other than speculation that Iran may decide not to come, and then Italy would fill their spot. But if they decide not to come on their own, it's because they decided not to come. What they can't bring is a bunch of IRGC terrorists into our country and pretend that they're, journalists and athletic trainers. Nothing from the U.S. is
helping them. We're looking at helping them. We have 18,000 people that live in this country that are great people and great employees, and we're thinking about doing it, helping them out, meaning bailing them out or buying it. I think we just buy it. We'd be getting it virtually debt-free. They have some good aircraft, some good assets, and when the price of oil goes down, we'll sell it for a profit. I'd love to be able to save those jobs. I'd love to be able to save an airline. I like having a lot of airlines.
Talking about Spirit.
So it's competitive. So we are looking at Spirit. It's in
interesting
bankruptcy. It's in bankruptcy court. And we're looking if we could get it for the right price. I'd do it to save the jobs. And we have somebody that wants to run it, do a good job, smart person.
I mean, if they can do it better than Spirit has run Spirit, sure. Maybe.
And if they run it properly and if prices come down, all of a sudden it's a valuable asset.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely could be. Shocking how terribly it's run.
And they have some very good slots too, which are pretty valuable.
On the UK's digital services tax.
Did you say the UK?
Yes, sir. They made $1.3 billion last year. So is that something you would kind of investigate, call for it to be scrapped, have a look at?
We don't like it when they target American companies because basically you're talking about our great American companies. And whether we like those companies or don't like them, they're American companies. And they're the top companies in the world. And we've been looking at it. UK did it. A couple of other people did it. They think they're going to make an easy buck. That's why they've all taken advantage of our country. They don't take advantage of it. No, we've been looking at it, and we can meet that very easily by just putting a big tariff on the UK. So they better be careful. If they don't drop the tax, we'll probably put a big tariff on the UK.
What they expect, 5%, 10%, something similar?
Whatever. I mean, more than what they're getting. They shouldn't be doing that. That's doing is really targeting. It's targeting great companies, but they're our companies. It's like us targeting their companies, which we could do very easily. But you don't have big companies like that. You don't have those great companies. Not fair. I have an obligation to protect our companies. That's how they became great. And they become great during my administration. My first 4 years, we had the best economy in history in my first 4 years. And this will blow it away. Look at it. During a war, we have the highest stock market. During a war, it's not a big war for us, but it's a war. And during a war, we have the highest stock market. I have to protect this country. So if they want to do the service tax, France did it also, and some others. And literally, I have a meeting after this having to do with that exact question. And what we'll do is we'll reciprocate by putting something on that's equal or greater than what they're doing, and they won't be happy about that.
Okay. Your son-in-law, whatever it is. Oh, he's commenting on SPLC. Southern-in-law, whatever it is, he says.
How do you defend what just happened where your son-in-law, whatever it is, has given money to KKK? They're supposed to protect people, and they're paying all these people, crooked as can be, millions of dollars going all to all these people that they're supposed to be protecting from, but they're actually supporting them because they want to have companies that they can protect, and because they want to rig
almost like the mafia
elections. That was all a rigged election. All of the
literal definition of a racket.
With Charlottesville, all of the stuff that they did, and you won't bring that up.
Racketeering, anyone? Any little RICO action?
But you'll bring up some nonsense. Let me tell you, the election, we were winning all day long. It's a totally horrible situation. Hopefully the courts will overturn it, what they did in Virginia. You have a grossly incompetent governor. You had a very good governor. He did a good job. You know, all those companies that want to move into Virginia now, they want to move out and go to a different location. So that's my opinion.
I am not registering my company in Virginia.
It was a rigged election. Virginia's known for it. It was a rigged election. They had a lot of ballots, mail-in ballots. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you have cheating.
Going to Delaware, baby. Okay. Excuse me. Well, that's the top of the pile there. Let's go back. You see what I missed in mine. Other than the creepy job clowns. Yep, GPT 5.5 releasing. Oh yeah, and then Anthropic like suddenly admitting to what they swore they weren't doing the whole time, which was like nerfing the shit out of their models. Make them suck bad for what reason we don't know, but they were absolutely doing it because all of a sudden, as soon as OpenAI announced GPT 5.5, Anthropic comes out and says, where is it? So ridiculous. We've been looking into recent reports around Claude Code quality issues and just published a post-mortem on what we found after spending the last week calling their customers crazy, literally, and saying, nope, that's not happening. No, it's not. No, we aren't. No, we don't. Bizarre way to run a business. Strange. I haven't really gotten to play much with 5.5 yet. Only a little bit, but I'm pretty impressed so far. Especially compared to the garbage heap that Anthropic released. Yeah, this is true. Absolutely true. All right, what do we got here? New York City teen arrested after he body slammed a girl before stomping on her head because she didn't give him her number. Seems a little racist.
Imagine that I smack this shit out of you right now, right? Do it. No, you stand right here. You will. No, you stand right here. You stand right here. Oh no, she got your pussy. Let's go to word.
Yo!
Yo! No!
Welcome to New York. Oh, what's this? Remember this video? Let me remind you. Joe Biden launched his entire 2020 campaign. Yep, declaring war on white supremacy in Charlottesville. Almost like the whole thing was just stage managed.
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans.
And I wonder who it was actually doing all of this.
And a violent clash ensued.
No, the SPLC.
And a brave young woman.
And who knows who else
lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some
here comes the lie.
Very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides. With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation.
He wrote? Oh, sure you did, Joe.
Oh, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces.
We're in a battle for the whole of this nation.
As an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are. And I cannot stand by and watch that happen. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America America is at stake.
They just laid it all on, like every freaking clip they could milk for all it's worth. Just chucked it in there.
Why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Folks, America's an idea that's stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It gives hope to the most desperate people on earth. It guarantees that everyone is treated with dignity and gives hate no safe harbor. It instills in every person in this country the belief that no matter where you start in life, there's nothing you can't achieve if you work at it. That's what we believe. And above all else, that's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
This ad has been sponsored by the SPLC. Interesting. Oh, that's fun. Cool. At least it would be if I use Slack. Dang, not bad. Wow. Okay, Trump says he would not use a nuclear weapon against Iran.
Sir, would you use a nuclear weapon against Iran? You posted
They're
on
still on
social.
this. They're still on this?
Sir, would you use a nuclear weapon against Iran? You posted on Truth Social a few weeks ago.
We don't need
That's
it.
not
Why do
what
I need it? Why would a stupid question like that be asked? Why would I use a nuclear weapon when we've totally in a
Why would we need to?
very conventional way decimated them?
Yeah, it's silly.
Without it. No, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be allowed to be used by anybody.
Yikes. 62-foot kraken-like octopus identified as top-tier predator 100 million years ago? With powerful bone-crushing bite? They real. They're just they've been living down there the whole time. We just haven't known. What the heck? That's crazy. That is a robot playing ping pong. On a relatively conventional, like this is the exact, more or less the exact same setup that you'd use for camera motion control. Like literally. Those are two electronic sliders, like joined together with a robotic arm on top. Look at that, that's crazy. Ah! Wow. What the heck? That's so wild. That's really cool. Oh, what? I'm not even going to read that out loud. I'm just going to play it.
Ridiculous, and I will not entertain it. Of course you would. You didn't know anything today again. You're clueless. Move on. Let's move on. Okay.
Well, I guess I have to read it. No, I can't do it. I can't read it. Nope, too gross. Okay. No idea. More in Louisiana.
Oh yeah, this shit serious. Oh boy, oh yeah, this shit serious. I told y'all, boy, they getting ready, boy. Bruh, yeah, they shooting them all up in it, bit. Boy, I was at work, but I ain't know what the fuck was going on. But they just shots lit off, bro. I thought it was the construction workers in that bitch. But this shit wild. Yeah, they got this shit marked off, twin. This shit going crazy out this bitch. Mama. Ball, Louisiana, bro. This shit wild. Got an active shooter in this bitch. Oh my god. Active shooter in this bitch. Damn, bro. You see them boys? They going crazy right now. I can't even go back to work. Fuck. Bro, this
You're not complaining, buddy. Come on.
crazy, but I'm gonna have to go back to North Carolina, boy. Oh my mama. Yeah. Well.
Yikes.
Is this the last?
What is this? Pyramid shooter? Crazy video of the Mexico pyramid shooter casually walking to the top and taking out his gun.
That's part of the tour? No, we walk.
Is this part of the...
No, I mean here at the pyramids. Yeah, I think so. Sí, ¿verdad?
Now would be the time to leave. Yo.
Get down.
How did you completely miss the guy with the gun that you were pointing your camera at the whole time?
Come on, get down, get down. Get down, get down.
This is the first I've heard of this one. What the hell even happened here? Two days ago. Wow.
Gunshots ringing out at a busy tourist site near Mexico City.
Yeah, get out of there.
People running frantically and jumping off the Teotihuacan pyramids as a barrage of bullets rained down.
Now he's climbing up.
Witnesses filming a man seen here pacing atop a pyramid, appearing to hold a gun.
Oh, they're shooting at him.
The shooter fired multiple times, investigators say, killing a Canadian woman before turning the gun on himself. 6 other people were injured. Authorities say they recovered a gun, bladed weapon, and live cartridges at the scene. Mexican.
Yes. Oh, thank you. What's up, Steph? You're still here. Fire is broken out in the direction of the Washington Monument. We have a new pope. We've got a new pope. It's okay, everyone. They've decided. The vote on the SAVE Act is a yes. Oh, it's a bus fire. Oh. Well, oh well. Got my hopes up there for a second. SPLC, preserve your records. House Judiciary, GOP. Chairman Jim Jordan demanding documents and communications from the SPLC regarding their payments to sources from extremist groups and any coordination with the Biden-Harris admin. Yeah, I wonder what they might have been up to. Trump admin reportedly moving to revoke the citizenship of Ilhan Omar. They've floated the idea. We'll see. I hope so. Nice. Modernizing air traffic control systems. Finally.
Flying safe isn't just about the plane. It's the network of air traffic controllers guiding every move. For decades, that network relied on old copper wires. They're ancient, and most importantly, they break. Remember the Newark airport mess in 2025? That was a wire failure. It shut down controllers' radios and radar. Copper, it's a thing of the past. Fiber, it's the future. We're ripping out thousands of miles of old metal and replacing them with high-speed fiber.
This is the copper that the FAA is getting away from nationwide, and we're going to fiber like you have at your house. Its durability is better, and it will last much longer.
The new wiring that we got, it allows for that connection to be stronger and to go across longer distances.
Some of the problems that we face with copper, as it ages, it starts to deteriorate, killing the signal that we send out.
The behind-the-scenes stress of a controller's job is hard enough, so if they don't have to worry about the technology failing as much, that will definitely make their jobs a lot easier.
Pilots and controllers need to have communications at all times, and those communications need to be very reliable.
Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg, they said it would take more than 10 years. That's absurd. We're getting this done at the speed of Trump. With fiber powering the way, we'll have faster data, less outages, and a system that's fit for the 21st century.
Okay. Oh, another. Judge calls out inmate for laughing as he's sentenced for fatally stabbing his cellmate in the brain with a pen.
I don't see any reason not to sentence him to life without the possibility of parole, frankly, based upon protecting our community, in addition to the violent nature.
Wow.
not sure why you're laughing, sir. There's certainly nothing funny.
Yeah, you're amusing, very amusing.
I'm glad you think I am.
You amusing and shit. Yeah, you very amusing. Yeah, girl.
I find nothing amusing about your behavior.
I'd like to amuse you later tonight.
Death of this gentleman. I don't see any.
What's his name? Derek, Browns. What is his name? Darrell Brooks. Dime a dozen. All right. President met with LA Mayor Karen Bass at the White House to discuss rebuilding after the Palisades fire. Hopefully a little more than that was discussed, and you got a talking to. It doesn't look like it, though. I mean, that looks pretty happy.
Building permits issued. For perspective, the city of LA has issued over 1,300 permits in Pacific Palisades.
Is that a torch?
Over 700 homes were destroyed.
What is that she's holding?
In Malibu, 300 of them beachfront along Pacific Coast Highway. Malibu City Councilman Steve Uring is worried wealthy developers will come in and combine lots, building 20,000 square feet.
Now, that looks kind of like a torch to me. Like a handheld ceremonial torch.
Foot homes, a second or third home for someone, not homes for permanent residents.
It's got to be a community that has a group of homeowners who live here, who are invested in the community, who participate in what goes on in the community, and that's what makes us a good city again.
So it's no surprise longtime Malibu residents like.
What is this photo even from?
Uring have concerns about what New Zealand billionaire brothers Matt and Nick Mowbray are up to. They've purchased these 16 beachfront lots where they plan to build 16 prefab homes that are constructed at their company's factory in China.
It is indeed from just the other day. The interaction was real, but the specific objects that they are holding in this widely circulated image are not confirmed as being from this exact moment in all official reports. Image could be fake. That'd be really strange. I mean, a cased Olympic torch? I guess the Olympics are, right? When was, let's see. When are they supposed to be there? 28? I guess that's why, but like, hello, torch, fire, burn? Intentional?
And shipped here.
What's unique with our system, it's a fire-safe system. Walls are made out of AAC, which is a very lightweight concrete.
The Mowbray brothers have spent summers in Malibu, and their team says it's a community they love, a community they want to rebuild. The prefab homes are luxury, high-end homes that will look different and can be produced in 4 to 6 weeks. The price of the homes will depend on the real estate market once they're complete. Because of the difficulties in building in Malibu with septic systems, a seawall, and all the site preparation needed before construction, the Mowbrays believe their company Zuru Tech is best suited for this project.
Our plan was to build one home that was used by the Mowbrays, but after we bought the first lot, we had many public inquiries if we were interested in buying additional lots. We don't want to go through California Coastal Commission to build very large mansions. We want to truly rebuild what was here before.
The plan is to have the first 2 homes complete by the end of 2027 and have all 16 homes done by 2029.
I think as we get further down the line, everybody's going to realize, you know, the boys from New Zealand are billionaires. They're in it to make money. I think whether this plan they got right now is the one that's going to make them money, whether there'll be a revised plan down the road, my crystal ball is not good enough to tell you how that's going to work out.
At a Malibu City Council meeting last month, Uring proposed the city institute a maximum allowable square footage rule for beachfront properties, but it was voted down. There's already a cap on how big your home can be in Malibu if you're not on the beach.
Their intention is not of stealing their land or commercializing Malibu. We truly want to return Malibu to what it can be, hopefully a better version of its past self.
The torch, dude. I just can't get over that. I'm a little goofy. 7 tourists, including 3 children, to be rescued from an Australian cliffside.
When the adrenaline spiked, and I saw the police were standing near the edge of the cliff, and I walked over to them, and I looked down. I go, "Oh my goodness!" So that was when the adrenaline spiked, and I went, "Yep, this is a very serious situation."
A morning walk on the beach along Australia's east coast went badly wrong for a group of 7 tourists when the tide came in, leaving them cut off. They managed to climb up to a ledge on the cliff, including 3 children, but 16-foot waves were inching closer by the minute.
They had phones on them, so they rang the police.
Pete Collins is the commander of the local emergency services.
What was the worst case scenario there?
So if the waves had come up any higher and washed them off, that's the worst.
They attempted a helicopter rescue,
oh my God,
but calculated its downdraft would push the stranded group into the water. That left ropes and a 3-hour operation using a piece of equipment called the Arizona Vortex, invented in northern Arizona.
Does it allow you to lower a rescue worker down to the stranded people?
It allows us to do it safely. So if we didn't have that device, dragging the ropes over the cliff edge would be, it would just absolutely destroy the ropes because of the sharp edges on the rocks.
The members of the group who were rescued are all now safe and sound, but so far they have not...
Yeah, that is crazy, dude. People do some dumb shit. Oh. Oh, okay. Interesting. China now has Terminator-style police patrolling with human police in public. Why does he have a vest on? Oh, here's some of that bus fire. Yikes. Electric bus? Okay.
Jews will not replace us.
This whole thing was such a fucking charade.
Jews will not replace us.
Ridiculous. Sanity.
Morning hours of August 18th. Surveillance footage at a Ladybug Espresso in Lakewood shows this bikini barista serving a drink to a customer who then violently grabs her through the window, ripping her shirt.
Bikini barista, huh?
Screen captures give us a good look at Ezekiel Guerrero, the 19-year-old that Lakewood police tracked down a week later in Kent. You can see him here in handcuffs.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Guerrero keeps repeating he was not in the right state of mind.
It was just a flash. The moment I realized what I did, I let go.
Despite, according to police documents, Guerrero admitting to grabbing the young woman, he pleaded not guilty at his arraignment and is out of Pierce County Jail with a first-degree attempted kidnapping charge. Early morning hours of...
Crazy.
Call him.
And you're harassing me.
I didn't talk to you.
You have no...
No idea. All right, let me jump to... Oh, here's more on Charlottesville. Why not?
I want to show you some of the video that we shot from earlier showing some of the situation and the tense building up, the tenseness building up. Started with some people chanting and singing to some of these monument supporters, trying to annoy them. That apparently worked because at some point these groups actually got into a fight, but the NOPD, they were nearby. They stepped in quickly. It appears there was a person arrested at that point. At another point later in the night, a Confederate flag was burned. We saw that, but again, NOPD kept that situation under control, but still very tense. I talked with one of the Confederate monument supporters. He says, well, it's annoying, but he still wants to stay here because simply he wants to preserve history. Of course, the other group, the majority of the people here, it seems from this crowd, they say simply take them down. They say it's 2017, it's time. I want to show you some of the video that we shot from earlier showing some of the situation and the tense building up, the tenseness building up. Started with some people chanting.
Okay. What?
And prices and
that's on MSNBC today.
Amid this discussion of costs and prices and affordability, how does a $20 billion bailout of Argentina help Americans? You're the president's point person on that. Can you explain to those here who are feeling the pinch, including America's farmers, why the United States is helping out Argentina?
Well, do you know what a swap line is?
It's currency swap, yes.
Yes, but what is that?
You're the Treasury Secretary.
Yes, but why would you call it a bailout?
That is how...
In most bailouts, you don't make money. The U.S. government made money. We used our financial balance sheet to stabilize the government. One of our great allies in Latin America, during an election, the president there won in a landslide. The government's going to make money, and I would rather use peace through economic strength than have to be shooting at narco boats coming offshore if the government collapsed. We have a generational opportunity in Latin America to create allies. We just saw an election in Bolivia. We're probably going to see an election in Colombia. We've seen them in Ecuador. We're going to see them in Chile. So by stabilizing the economy there and making a profit, then that's a very good deal for the American people. And there's a lot we could have been doing for American farmers, but Democrats closed the government.
Okay. Oh, man.
ChatGPT 5.5 that just came out a couple of hours ago. We're going to be going into what's new, all of the benchmarks, new features, how it compares to other models. We're also going to be doing some live tests through problems, often which is going to be also improved on how well it can run a computer by itself. It's also better at finding security flaws, using an app like a real person, researching, chaining tools together, and solving hard math. And all of these are very important benchmarks for the average user. So does this mean that this is the new best model for everything? No, it is not, but it is a big improvement. So according to the benchmarks, GPT 5.5 is going to be better for terminal use, work tasks, computer use, cybersecurity, and advanced math. However, Claude Opus 4.7, which is Anthropic's latest model, is still going to be better for software engineering, reasoning without tools, and
I don't buy that.
Code debugging. And lastly, Google's Gemini Pro is still better at academic reasoning.
Nope. Okay. Anything else in the last little bit here? Nope, nope. Boring, boring, boring. Detroit Home Depot? Sign me up. Oh, we got another bow staff battle going on here.
Oh, shit.
Hey, you dropped your bow staff there. Can't be a Shanghai ninja with that. Or monk? Shanghai monk? Shanghai monk.
You better tag them, bro. You better tag
Oh shit, ninja! Oh shit, ninja! Ninja, please! Wait, what about a vacation? Oh, now the police show up. If you can even call whatever that goblin was a police. Yeah, I'm sure she'll get control of that real quick.
Come on, y'all, let's help him. Come on, let's help him.
Never ceases to amaze.
Carrying torches, their veins bulging from their necks, carrying Nazi swastikas, and chanting the same exact anti-Semitic bile that was heard in Germany in the early 30s. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and the Ku Klux Klan.
Nice.
Crime hoax.
The liberal goes, Justice Smollett, anyone?
No, I didn't
how about
say
the
anything
banana
about Justice
peel on the
Smollett.
bench?
Yeah,
How about the
Walmart
noose
shooter
at the
is
race
a banana peel? What hoax have you actually seen here? You don't think that hundreds
Come
of
on,
people
Tarlov.
showed up at the Unite the Right rally that weren't this informant, that weren't persuaded by his vehicle that got them there?
Who was the informant?
I don't. What?
You don't know. What's it?
They were persuaded by his vehicle.
The leader? An informant is not a leader.
Do you think
It's also, I mean,
you think there
that's
are
the
white supremacists there? That it's not real?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Are you
All I know is I never heard of it until the day that it happened. You act like you can take the word for a bunch of corrupt people.
Proud Boys.
So you're saying this wasn't created. You're saying this just was an organic event, just like every left-wing event. It just happened. All these right-wingers showed up.
No,
nobody else
it can be
knew about it.
organized, but
And you know what?
the
Nobody.
people are real.
Nobody.
The white supremacists
Okay.
are
You know what?
real who got the call to action.
Let me do the simplest analogy. This is like when somebody says, on average, men are taller and way more than women. And then one woman goes, but what about her? They point to a WNBA player. Yes, Jessica, I'll give you. There probably is a bigot somewhere, but you guys created a false flag that there was this immense movement going on in this country that then put targets on people like Charlie Kirk's back, and he's dead. And a lot of other people were either threatened, physically attacked because of a false flag, which painted an entire, basically, millions of people as white supremacists. You guys ran with it. Imagine if Trump had not won and Kamala Harris had won. Imagine where the SPLC would be now. Imagine how torn apart this country would be. And by the way,
yep. Yeah, you think it's bad now? Oh man.
Hope that this thing mends, but I don't know, because there are people like you, Jessica, who have such a sunk cost in this belief that this is a belief you were tricked into believing, to think that there's all these racists hiding behind every Cracker Barrel. No, you know what the racists were? They were the anti-racist black activists who saw this as a way to go after whites. This racism that you created was designed to allow for a different kind of racism. And I go back to the contrast. We don't have to defend our racists because we don't know who they are, because you create them. Meanwhile, we don't have to make up your racist because you're standing there with Hassan Piker. These guys are right there in our face.
Law Center bankrupted the Klan.
Oh, let's see CBS Evening News's coverage of this. This should be fun.
40 years ago, the Southern Poverty Law Center bankrupted the Klan and later
Well, clearly not.
recovered millions from neo-Nazi groups, with lawsuits representing victims of violence. But Tuesday, the tables turned. The Justice Department charged the organization with fraud for allegedly misleading donors and lying to financial institutions by paying members of violent extremist groups millions of dollars to act as informants.
The SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
Including, the indictment alleges, a leader of the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, who, quote, attended the event at the direction of SPLC, made racist postings under the supervision of the SPLC, and helped coordinate transportation to the event for several attendees. But Law Center interim president Brian Fair said the group had long used informants and called the indictment a political attack by the Trump administration.
They have made no secret of who they want to protect and who they want to destroy. You have to wonder if this...
Attorney Scott Frederickson questioned the Justice Department's legal theories.
Can the federal government persuade a jury that the Southern Poverty Law Center was out there funding extremism for its own purposes, manufacturing racism? That's hard to believe. Obviously, they'll have their day in court.
But there have been calls to investigate the Law Center for years. In 1995, the Montgomery Advertiser was the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for articles alleging that the center was misleading donors and wasting their money. And more recently, critics say that its hate watch list of extremists includes many mainstream conservatives. Tony?
Jan, thank you very much.
Yes, it does. Looks like that's the entire reason it exists. All right. Well, that was a fun one. I was like, what am I looking at there? Huh? Calm down, sir. Okay. That looks boring. Refresh. No, come back. That looked fun. Oh, look at him. That's the little formerly deaf boy. What cutie. That about? What? Rep Anna Polino Luna calling for this guy to be pardoned? The guy who insider traded on Polymarket? I don't know about that. It is definitely a hot take, Luna. And she's definitely not wrong. If he's going to pay a price, so should all the people insider trading in Congress. That's fair. Aw.
On a hate group next.
Charlie Kirk reacts to the SPLC labeling TPUSA as a hate group. May 27th, 2025.
They're literally putting high school chapters of ours on a hate group next to the KKK and next to neo-Nazi groups. And I mean, we can laugh this off. There's an element to this. Remember that there was a shooter that went to the Family Research Council years ago, inspired by the SPLC list. This is them trying to make us basically surrender at Turning Point USA. We're going to do the opposite, and our students are only going to lean in even more. But they can't debate us on our ideas. They cannot have dialogue. They cannot actually go onto the merits of why they are right or why we might be wrong. Instead, they must smear us with the age-old one-liner that you are a racist or that you are a hater. And they're finally realizing the power of Turning Point USA, which is why they put us on this list.
Well, when you're effective, you're a threat.
They're literally putting high school chapters of ours on a hate group next to the KKK and next to neo-Nazi groups. And I mean, we can laugh this off. There's an element to this. Remember that there was a shooter that went to the Family Research Council years ago, inspired by the SPLC list. This is.
Yeah. Boy, timeline's a weird one today. Ooh. How about over here? Creepy. Probably ought to check this one out. World. Sam Altman's digital identity project just unveiled World ID 4.0. Wow, what an inventive name. What the company calls full stack proof of human infrastructure. The partner list: Tinder, Zoom, DocuSign, Shopify, Okta, Amazon Web Services, and Vercel. Oh joy. Altman opened by saying we're heading into a world where AI generates more content than humans. We're already there, buddy. Like, right now. Pantera Capital says we've already crossed that threshold. Well, there you go. Already crossed that threshold. Yeah, that's where my money's at. World's answer is an iris scanning device called the Orb that creates a unique cryptographic ID proving that you're a real person. 18 million people across 160 countries have already verified. So how does this work, Mr. Altman? Tinder's rolling out verified human badges. It's only a matter of time. After a Japan pilot. Oh yeah, Japanese will buy that shit in a second. They won't even blink twice. God love them, but they are suckers for the shit. Zoom built a feature called Deepface that verifies the person on a video call is not a deepfake. DocuSign is adding proof of human checks to digital signatures. Shopify is enabling verified human commerce. The most significant announcement is AgentKit, infrastructure that lets AI agents carry cryptographic proof that they're acting on behalf of a verified human. Okta built an agent delegation system on top of it. Interesting. Problem world is solving is real. Question is whether a centralized iris scanning identity layer controlled by the same person whose company helped create the problem in the first place is the right answer. Indeed. Great question.
In all of the ways we dreamed, many we didn't.
What is this? This is so weird. Surreal.
Thank you. Good morning. I am here instead of Alex.
Oh.
Alex had emergency hand surgery. He's doing fine, but he is unable to be
Tapping to AI porn too much?
here. And it's a shame because the stuff we have to talk about today is so exciting. So you're stuck with me for a minute first. Clearly, the world is getting close to very powerful AI. And this is doing a lot of
it's already here. Yeah.
wonderful things. We're
I
going
don't
to
know when this was filmed, but
see this play out in all of the ways we dreamed, many we didn't. But we are also heading to a world now where there's going to be more stuff generated by AI than by humans. And I think there's a ton of reason for optimism for this new world. Clearly, we care more about humans than we care about AI. But I'm sure many of you have started to have an experience more and more where you're like, am I interacting with an AI or a person, or how much of each and how do I know? And we are so hardwired to care about people that I'm not afraid for the future as long as we can tell. So years ago, we started thinking about what we would need to have proof of human in a world with advanced AI in it, what it was going to be like when the internet had way more AI agents, you know, writing comments or making posts or on social networks or interacting on commerce flows or whatever else than it did people. And we really wanted to make sure that the world continued to be about people, for people, that people were still the primary thing that we all care about, which we knew was going to happen no matter what else happened with AI. We are so hardwired for that. We just wanted to figure out how to make it easier. Alex and I and the team started thinking about ideas for how this could happen, and then AI has continued to go like this.
How to make it easier to palate the fact that people aren't interacting with humans anymore? Is that, I get that right?
And the world is now on the way to being a real human network for the internet. I don't think we know yet exactly all the ways that's going to be important, how that's going to work, what people are going to do with that, but we can increasingly tell, and we're seeing this now and now with what you all and others are building, people are really going to need this and really going to need to do this in a privacy-preserving way. So World ID is our effort at that.
Going to.
And it's been amazing to see the progress over the last year as people have adopted this and figured out how to integrate this into a new world of AI. And our goal is to make World ID be this new proof of human for the internet. So I'm going to hand it over to Tiago, who will also fill in for Alex today. And we got some great stuff to show you. Thank you.
Interesting, he gets more cheers than Sam. This is the guy I think it is. He is quite a brilliant guy. Yeah, I believe that is him.
It's so good to see everyone here today. And today, it's all about World ID. World ID is a proof of human layer for the internet. And it is very easy to use. All you gotta do is find an orb near you in your town, maybe it is at a coffee shop or at a shopping mall, and you can use that to verify yourself as a real human. When you do that, you will get your very own human credential. That's
your digital ID.
It's gonna live on your personal phone so that in the future, anytime you wanna verify on an app or a website that you're, well, a real unique human, you can do that with the tap of a button. Now,
you can already do that.
Now, one of the things that people often find the most surprising
without scanning your iris
about World ID is that it's not just private, but it's perhaps one of the most private things we've ever used. It is, for starters, open source, and all of your personal data gets stored only on your personal device.
And then what happens to it then?
Top of this, it goes beyond standard end-to-end encryption, and it uses multiple primitives, including anonymized multi-party computation and zero-knowledge proofs to protect you along the way. Now, World ID started rolling out not too long ago.
And what can it be used for? Especially, like, I don't know, data collection. Like, what That's going to be my big question.
And I'm excited to say that in the time since, already more than 18
Can it be used to build a profile on you?
million people have verified an orb, and they've used their human credentials more than 450 million times.
They say private, but how private?
Now, as exciting as this is, the truth is the mission is much bigger. You see, we believe that as AI continues to advance over the coming weeks and months and years, every single website and app that we use will leverage World ID's proof of human to protect itself and its users. And so with this in mind, for the last 18 months, we've been collaborating with teams around the world, led as always by the World Foundation, to come up with a next generation of World ID, one that could
World ID.
meet the moment, one that could operate at internet scale. And so today, I'm very excited to introduce you to World ID 4.0. World ID 4.0 is an even more powerful, scalable, and open version of World ID. And to tell you all about it, please welcome Daniel.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Tiago. A lot of beautiful faces in the crowd. My goodness, we're very lucky.
Is that just like more than a little creepy, or?
Folks, I am so jazzed to be talking to you about the
Yep, it was creepy.
best World ID yet. 4.0 is a complete soup to nuts re-engineering of the stack around a very simple idea. Humans should have a right to exceptional privacy and security. And our tools must measure up without compromising on the powerful features our users expect.
I agree on premise, but execution, go on.
Which is heavy, I know, it's 10 in the morning. But it's also why we started at the core of the protocol with what we feel are essential upgrades. Upgrades like key rotation, that detaches your keys from your identity. Multi-party entropy, ensuring that every interaction is truly unlinkable. And finer credential controls. That means more ways to manage and protect your information. I'm really excited about these. We then moved layer by layer all the way up through the stack. Frankly, there's probably a little bit too much to cover this morning. Tiago said I had a time limit. So instead, I'll just point out 3 of my favorites. We're going to start with what makes 4.0 our most powerful World ID yet.
This is so weird.
With the explosion of agents, the internet is fundamentally changing again, which is super exciting.
True.
Don't get me wrong. But how do you make sure the right people are in the loop?
The right people. All the best people.
Humans are in the loop. This is especially important at critical moments where, we want to make sure that we really meant for that purchase or that decision, right? We don't want Skynet.
We don't want the no-no people having access to the intelligence.
Agent Kit, we feel, is an incredibly compelling answer here. And we'll talk a lot more about this in just a moment. Great. 4.0 is powerful, I hear you think. But what good is more power if we can't reach humans everywhere? So let's start by acknowledging that while we think proof of human is going to only become much more essential, and the orb is needed for those high-stake interactions, not every use case today requires the gold standard of orb assurance. So that's why with
Orb
4.0, we're introducing a new verification modality. This is really exciting.
Oh?
We're introducing
Give us your face, too.
selfie check.
Not just your eyeballs. The whole damn
The latest
thing.
member of the proof of human family. Thank you. The way it works is super simple. Take a selfie and boom, you're in.
Forever.
Unlike Face ID, Selfie confirms both your humanness, and it also gives you an indication of your uniqueness. Now, it's not quite nearly as robust as the orb, but we think for specific use cases, it's going to be really, really compelling. So there it is, alongside, of course, the orb and the ID verifications. And together, it makes 4.0 the most accessible World ID suite ever. And just like its bigger brothers, Selfie is private by design. That means that we maximize
how?
The local processing that's happening on your device, on your phone, which means that your images are yours, right? We really don't want them.
You seem to be glossing over like the most crucial fucking part of the whole thing.
Excellent. This is,
well, you would think,
an important section. For a lot of you, you've probably started to get the sense that World ID, it's not a typical project.
So no, you're just gonna skip over it.
We really believe that there's an opportunity here to make sure the proof of human becomes a human right. Exactly. That's how important it is. Open source, open protocols, and permissionless standards. That's the right way, we believe, to build critical infrastructure. And that is why I am so excited to announce that with 4.0, the protocol now supports many clients. Think of it like browsers for the web, right? Pick your favorite. And of course, this includes a World app that we already know and we already love. But we're going to kickstart this new open era with a brand new World ID app. There it is.
Oh, wow. Another app. That stopped being exciting like a decade ago, dude.
The team worked insanely hard on this. It's a beautiful, dedicated, and private space for your credentials, for those human-first experiences we're going to talk about in just a moment, as well as managing agent actions. We think it's a really special moment in human history.
Okay, that part I do want to see.
Open, but of course, it's all kind of frou-frou if we don't ground it in use cases that deliver for you. And so on that, I'm going to pass it back to Tiago. Thanks, everyone.
We're very excited about the new World ID 4.0 with this powerful new protocol, a number of SDKs for developers, and a new super simple app for users. But as Dan said, what really matters about the new World ID is not the technology, but what you can do with that. So that's really where we want to spend most of our time today, starting with World ID for people, the apps that you and I use on our day-to-day lives. With gaming companies like Razer, and the one that got some in-person event. Yeah, it's complex behind this.
Tries to be the brand.
To also bring integrity.
Business. Yeah.
And the audit
Zoom.
We've talked a lot about proof of human, and I think people now sort of get how this human dash, you prove that you're a human, that World ID sort of does that, right? But I think not a lot of people know that World ID can also help with deepfakes, right? Because once you have a human credential on your phone, you can actually prove that, use that to prove that you are who you say you're on a call. But before we get into that, how are you guys thinking about deepfakes at Zoom?
So it's something that's very top of mind.
And more importantly, how are we thinking of cramming stupid fucking software features into Zoom that you don't need?
For us, as we've talked to our customers, and with all
this is the story of Zoom for like the last 3 or 4 years.
The industries that we support, it's top of mind for them because of what's happening with the technology and the speed that it's escalating at. You look at where the image generation is more realistic than ever.
Oh my gosh. World ID for agents.
Thinking, isn't World the human network? Don't they hate bots? Why are we talking about agents? And the thing is, we believe agents are going to be an increasingly important part of our lives. And it's actually incredibly exciting. And just like the rest of the internet, you just need proof of human to prevent some of the downsides and get the most of it. So there's a few ways in which we think we can help with the new agent kit that Dan introduced at the beginning. The first one is something we call agent delegation. you can think about it as power of attorney for your agent, where you get to assign permissions to one or multiple of your agents so that they can represent you when they're going around and doing things on your behalf. So when they show up to a website or an app, that website knows that, yes, it is an agent, but it is acting on behalf of a real and unique human, and so they can let them in.
Oh, boy.
To talk about our first use case here, please help me welcome the Chief Product Officer of Okta.
That is going to open up a whole can of worms, man. That's what I've been spending the last 2 months building for. The moment that that can of worms opens up. And it's coming.
Hey, Jago. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Garrett. So, Okta is already at the forefront of not just identity and helping companies manage that. It's basically the gold standard, but increasingly also helping them manage their agents. And wonder, how are you guys experiencing this transition?
Yeah, it's really an unprecedented time. It's phenomenally exciting. We're working with some of the largest organizations in the world with their leadership and technology teams.
They are all spending the next 6 to 12 months learning everything they can about this stuff and trying to figure out how to implement it.
Both across workforce and customer identity, and there's tremendous excitement and desire to drive innovation and build agentic applications, but also a lot of anxiety and fear. And really, we're hearing 3 key questions come across every day. The first is, where are my agents? What can they access? And how do we keep them safe and mitigate fraud and abuse?
Ah, that last one.
And I think that's why this is so relevant, and we're excited about the partnership with Tools for Humanity to be able to bring a verified identity and to ensure that agents are operating securely on behalf of real people. It's really foundationally important.
Yes, and when I think about everything Okta has accomplished and how far you have all come in your different products, I think a big part of that is the values that you've held as you have worked through identity. How do you think about those, and how do you think about how those fit together with World?
I think it's a really seamless evolution. We've spent the last decade plus really validating that people are who they are and they can safely access resources. And now we have this explosion of agentic identity that is soon going to far outnumber the number of humans out there. And for trust, it's really a trust.
That's coming within the next, 2 months.
Equation to make the internet secure and for transactions to work and for us as individuals to have more productivity. We need to trust that agents can operate on our behalf, but the trust and security and identity infrastructure needs to be under the hood to be able to power all of that.
Yeah, trust is entirely the key there. And so I believe today you're announcing a new product that integrates World ID.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
I'd love to. Yeah,
I don't want to hear you shill story, but oh, human in the loop.
I'm wondering, and today or yesterday, I believe, you introduced an even newer product thought exactly for this. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Vercel just got in deep shit for getting hacked just a couple days ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
Yep. Lost a bunch of customer info to hackers. All right. Well, enough of that.
Write any code. I don't write any code anymore. I have engineers within Anthropic who say, I don't write any code. I don't write any code anymore. I just let Claude write the code, and I edit it or I look it over. And of course, at Anthropic, writing code means designing the next version of Claude itself. So we essentially have Claude designing the next version of Claude itself. Not completely, not in all ways, but in many ways.
Yep.
That loop starts to close very fast. And so I look at this and I say, wow, this is exciting.
It will be completely building itself by year end.
It's incredible what we can do with the world, but also it's really speeding up a lot. And I'm just not sure we have that much time.
A weird thing to say.
You need to stop the shit. Some things I don't mind talking about. I don't like talking about this. What the hell are you doing, dude? You're going to lose. You're not going to win. It's inevitable. We already know because the future timeline is fixed.
He killed himself, dude.
This particular timeline that we're on
I'm
leads
sorry. This guy was such a broken guy.
to your defeat.
Completely fried.
There is no getting around that. You are not being in integrity, but you don't care. But if you don't do this, we are screwed, man. You think this is all natural? You think nobody's coordinating any of this stuff? You think I want to talk about this? You think I want to be up here on this fucking camera talking about this shit?
Well, why are you doing it then?
I'm sorry. Why was I waking up under hypnosis?
Bad for him.
Why was I walking out the door of my house in the middle of the night?
The guy was like completely, well, obviously, like fried.
Hundreds of times
I guess the real question is why.
as a child, and I couldn't remember where I was going. And at the end of the thing, they just make me walk back to where I was, and then the memory is lost. And I don't remember what happened, but now I do. Now I do. Right? There's a resurrection there, and he comes up and he holds out his hand like this, and Agent Smith shoots at him. And all the bullets come down. And that moment was very powerful. You know, the villain Agent Smith is very, very powerful. So that moment where the hero is able to transcend death. Sorry.
It's a good movie, but it ain't that good. I mean, calm down, buddy. I like The Matrix, but yeah, something snapped with him at some point. I don't know what, but heavy residential fire spreads to a church in Astoria, Queens, raising to 5 alarm. Oh no. Oh jeez. First established 1839. Man. Dude, that sucks so bad. They're damn near 200 years old, man. It's toast. Yep. It's I'm no building expert, but I don't think it's going to be too easy to recover from that. That's a lot of fire damage and a lot of water damage. Jeez. So what the heck happened? It was a residential fire originally, and it spread to the church. Okay. Jeez. Man, oh man. Dang, dude. Oh, large tornado on the ground west of Brahman, Oklahoma. Brahman? Brahman? No clue. The big boy, though. That is a fat boy. A chungus. Chungus tornado. Chinese scientists have been dying mysterious deaths too. Yeah, they do that sometimes. It happens. The star of China's booming artificial intelligence defense sector had been working on Taiwan invasion scenarios until he died in an unexplained car crash in the early hours of the morning in Beijing, aged just 38. Hey, car crashes happen all the time, man. Especially in China, I'm sure. Love that old school vibe. Anthropic sucks in so many ways, but their media game is like, so good. They hit on something so like just perfect with the whole retro thing. Something about the way they market their stuff is just very well done. The way they treat their customers, on the other hand, not so good. More on the tornado. Here we go.
County cannot stress enough. Now look at it sucking in. It's actually pulling here. Satellite tornado. Satellite tornado. The main cone is here. Satellite tornado on the backside, rotating around. You're thinking, why is it doing that? The mesocyclone is all this, and this is rotating around on the rim of the mesocyclone. Another vortice right here, guys.
Wow.
Look right here. Another subvortice.
Look at the wind turbines.
Yeah, okay,
it's
so
going right through the wind farm.
Let's go to Mason Dunn. Strong tornado now. This is going to be a strong tornado in western K County. Cannot stress enough. Now look at it sucking in. It's actually pulling in the weaker tornado. It's eating it because the big tornado is taking over, becoming dominant. And
oh no, he's eating him. He's eating him. He's eating the little tornado. Oh my goodness.
Just lived, was born, lived, and just died because it was eaten by the big tornado. Let's get Mason done and get an update from Mason. Folks, I cannot stress it enough. This is a strong tornado. If you do not go to your safe spot up in
he's talking about safe spaces.
in K County, you could lose your life to this. If you live in a mobile home or a trailer, okay, you have to get out. You've got to get in your vehicle, and you can't.
He's a hungry chungus. He's going to eat you.
So a wild and frankly disturbing story out of the state of Utah.
Oh yeah, we saw that one. Transgender. The Cuban transgender.
Who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro.
Oh, Trump got asked about the insider trading soldier.
Mr. President, apparently there was a special forces soldier who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, who was arrested by federal authorities today on suspicion of insider trading and betting on Polymarket. Are you concerned that federal employees are betting on these prediction markets and potentially
Oh, they are.
Getting rich?
Oh, they are.
Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?
It sounds like he was betting on his removal from office, that Maduro would be removed.
Well, that's
it sounds
interesting.
like he was involved in the operation.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, he kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team. I'll look into it, yeah. It's a mess, yeah.
Mr. President, apparently there was a special forces soldier who was involved in
Okay, what do we got here? Department of Homeland Security will allocate $7.5 million next year to using emerging biometric technology to develop smart glasses designed to assist federal immigration agents and officers in identifying migrants who are in the United States illegally in real time. I don't think $7.5 million is going to be enough. I'm sorry. That's something that companies spend like hundreds of millions to develop. $7.5 million? No way. I guess they're just allocating it to like a company that's already developing it. So, you know, not like they're expecting to develop the whole thing for that much, but it's like a drop in the bucket though. Florida woman drives her lifted truck over a Lamborghini that she did not see in a parking lot. Them things are low, dude. And, you know, like, some of them got them flat black paint jobs that just blend in with everything, especially asphalt. Yep. God, that hurt just to watch. Oh. Yeah, that's a Lamborghini, my dear. I hope you got great insurance.
Gonna go to work, but then I got high. Ooh, I just got a new promotion, but I got high.
Oh man, after I used to jam to this back in like must have been like 8th grade.
Now I'm selling dope, and I know why.
Why, man?
Because I got high. Because I got.
What a great song. Afro Man just never would have expected the character that he developed into. Strange character arc that is. All right. What's next? Give me more. Ooh. Anthropic's Mythos raised the bar for AI vuln detection. Kept it invite only. Yeah. 5.5's blown their shit like out of the water already. Can already tell. They've completely fumbled the ball here. Weird move. Oh, what was I going to bring up on that? Speaking of, man, yeah, Elon Musk and SpaceX acquiring Cursor. Crazy move, but that's a big deal. I've been wondering for like a couple months now where the heck X's coding application is. Like, all the other ones have a dedicated coding app that can put together like really complex systems and code damn near anything you want, an app, desktop program, a website. I mean, any damn thing in between. They've been missing out on that, but buying Cursor will get them there. I don't know that 60 billion's worth it. That is a hell of a price to pay. And it actually kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit because they didn't need to do that. In fact, they probably could have done it for like $1 million just to develop like not even probably. They could probably just toss it to a bunch of X fanboys that like coding and code an open source version. I think OpenAI's is actually open source. Right on GitHub. Yep. Yeah, it is. There it is. Yep. They're not very complex at all. It's just like text scrolling by in a terminal. That's it. Cursor is a great deal more complex, and it does do a lot of like cool stuff. And it's I think where they might win with this, if they can make like a financial case for spending $60 billion on it. Cursor is especially good for people who have no fucking clue what they're doing. Like anyone can jump on the Cursor. It's really advanced, it can be, but it can also just build something. If you just describe what you want, it'll just bang it out in one go, pretty much. From what I know of it anyway. I've never used it because it's significantly more expensive of late. I think Cursor actually jacked up their pricing in order to jack up their pricing for X, jack up their valuation as a company for this X deal. So hopefully that'll go away. Because I would really like to try it. Heard really like amazing things about it and what it can do. Especially for like beginners and stuff. Oh, you even got a free plan, huh? I might give that a go. Just to see. I've been perfectly happy with my other methods, though. They work just fine. Let me see what Cursor can do. Since we're out of stuff to really cover here. Curious what X is after here with 60 billion, like dropping $60 billion on that just blew my mind. A few billion, like that would have made more sense to me. $60 fucking billion though. Crazy. Yeah, give me there we go, 3-minute demo.
Here's the Cursor demo.
Give me a more recent one.
Coding is changing, and it's changing for the better. The gap between imagination and reality is shrinking to an instant, and it's because coding agents are getting so good. They're getting smarter, they're getting faster, and so that's why we're excited to announce.
It truly is to the point where literally any one of you could go do this. Like if you have ever had an idea for an app, or whether to make money from or just to like use yourself, it's at the point where you can just build it now. Even if you never intend to sell it, just for you.
Cursor 3, it's a home for your agents, and it combines the power of a professional development environment, language servers, files, remote SSH, with all of the models, and the ability to run as many agents as you want, anywhere, either quickly on your computer, or you can hand off entire projects to agents that run in the cloud.
In the new Cursor, the way you build software is you're talking to agents. You have all of your agents in one place. You can look at changes, you can test them out, and then take them all the way to merge PR. You can dive deep when you really need to, looking at changes.
Give me like tutorials for people who are total beginners, like there you go. What can it do? Okay, why not?
Yesterday, the IDE of choice among Vibe engineers and the king of VS Code forks, Cursor, released version 2.0, and it contains new features that will terrify all of the AI coding doubters, haters, and non-believers as a friendly assistant, asking it to generate some boilerplate code here and do some tab completions there. But recently, I met a 12-year-old kid at a birthday party who's making $50K MRR on his side hustle, and he told me I was doing it wrong. He said, "You need to think like a Roman slave driver, whip in hand, heart turned to stone. If you want to
I don't know that I believe that, but
get anywhere in life, you need to be running multiple coding agents in parallel, all pushing, reviewing, and
100% believe that would have been me at that age. If I'd had access to this shit when I was 12, 13 years old, like, oh my gosh. I was back then like totally into video games, wanted to learn how to code video games. But that shit was way too hard. Nope, I did not have the dedication at that point in my life to really do that. Things have completely changed now, though. It's a whole new world out there.
Fixing code on the master branch simultaneously, not the woke main branch. I asked him how he does it, and he said, quote, a cursor...
This is an AI slop video. We'll skip that. God, don't they have something that just shows me what it can do? There you go.
To build software, you've always had to break down your ideas into small bits of logic a computer could understand. If this, then that. Run this loop. Even today, as agents write code for you, your constant attention is required. Micromanagement is not the future of software engineering. What if you could trust agents to take an idea and run with it? If they were free to explore and try things in their own computers.
So that's where Cursor is really like, it does it like end to end. Like you just give it the idea and it just builds the whole thing. Which is a way to do things, I guess, like especially for people who just don't do this and don't want to dedicate time to like really getting in depth. The way I've been working is much more involved than that. Like, still pretty automated, but I'm giving input like every, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes every 30, depending on what I'm doing. But this is just like you put it in, go to sleep, and wake up to a completely built app, which is pretty interesting. That's what X bought. That's what Elon tossed $60 billion down on. For X.
What if your ideas came back as live features and reviewing changes was as easy as hitting play?
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard it's gotten outrageously expensive in like last month, but I think it's because they're trying to sell their company to X. Okay, what's next?
So a wild...
Just curious.
We saw that one. Oh. Give me that.
A little bit about why you're Navy Secretary.
Oh, you got asked about the fired Navy Secretary, John Phelan. I want to hear that.
Could you talk a little bit about why your Navy Secretary was fired yesterday, sir?
He's a wonderful guy. I just put out a statement about him. He's a very good man. I really liked him, but he had some conflict with, not necessarily Pete, with some other, he's a hard charger, and he had some conflicts with some other people, mostly as to building and buying new ships. I'm very aggressive in the new shipbuilding, and somehow he just didn't get along with them. He's an excellent
Interesting.
guy. I think he would have gotten along great with me. I didn't really deal with him too much, but he's I consider him to have done a very good job. I put out a nice statement about him. You got to get along, especially in the military. You got to get along, and some people liked him, some people didn't, and that's usually the truth about everything. But I found him to be a very good man, and I liked him a lot.
Could you talk talk a little bit about why your Navy Secretary was fired yesterday, sir?
He's a wonderful guy.
One
I
second.
just put out a statement about him. He's a very good man. I really liked him, but he had some conflict with, not necessarily Pete, with some other. He's a hard charger, and he had some conflicts with some other people.
Sorry, just scrolling and copying, pasting something. Okay.
Italy in the world. Ask you a FIFA question, sir. What do you think of this idea of replacing Iran with Italy in the World Cup?
I don't think about it too much. That's an interesting question. Let me give
I
it.
didn't catch it.
You know what? Let me give it that a little thought. That's a very. Is that what they're doing? They're thinking about replacing him?
Apparently, it's a proposal.
Let Marco make his poly.
Marco, could you make a statement on that, please? What do you think of?
There's nothing from the U.S. has told them they can't come. I mean, the problem with Iran, it would be not their athletes. It would be some of the other people that would.
Ask you a FIFA question, sir.
Okay. Almost to the top of the hour here.
I'm here if you need me.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I stepped in a little early because I know you've been pulling a long one, so I was like, he might be ready to go.
Yeah, if you want to take the wheel, I'll give it up. You know.
Did you see that big conference that Sam Altman did?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. The World ID thing.
Did you? Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy. I was going to play some of that myself just because I like to stay on top of it. Then I have a good video pulled where a woman in Indiana just drives by where they're building one of those AI data centers. And to me, it's like that perspective is so, I don't know, impacts people more, I believe, because she's driving through this small rural town in Indiana and then she shows you where it starts.
It's ugly.
And it just, all the construction. That's what she says. She's like, I cried the first time I saw it because this is all small rural homes. And then it's like, bam.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like a total eyesore. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like I mentioned before, and you probably know more about this than me, like with my concern is like not only the eyesore, but also what it does to pollute the groundwater.
And noise pollution
how much
too.
actual water it uses. Yeah. So I did a story about a year ago of this couple in Georgia where they put one and it was just contaminated their water. And they said it was like living next door to like 2 football stadium worth of lights. That it was like this, the sun was beaming into their house all hours of the day and night.
Yeah, the fans are apparently ridiculously noisy, like keep you up all night. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gross.
What do you do? Like I said before, I see both sides of the coin because it is horrible. There's a lot of things. And when we were covering remember that when we were doing the 4G, 5G stuff, and now, Trump has the 6G, and we covered all those stories about kids with leukemia and near the schools and those towers, and they never did the research for the impact, that those would have. And there's, differing points of view on that. And I totally understand. But like that to me is where you also play the other side of the coin of like, do you think these other countries are slowing down? Do you think China's not building super soldiers with AI? They are. So what does that leave us? I mean, do we just go full steam ahead so we have a fighting chance? Or do we play the environmentalist and say, well, if we get shot up by a bunch of robots, at least we had green trees. I don't know, what do you do?
I know.
If there's, like if you could go no AI and not have, America, you know what I mean? And then you could have AI and I don't know.
In catch-22. I know.
It is.
The tough one.
Like
I do not envy
life,
President Trump on that. Like it is a tough spot to be in. Impossible choice.
It is difficult. It has to be. But that's what I think why he went full steam. Again, that's just my theory, my opinion. But I think that's probably why he did what he did, where he changed about course. His first term, he spoke out against a lot of the AI stuff and no regulations. And now it's like a completely different Trump. But I think that's because, they look at the people he surrounds himself with now, all these AI guys, and I think they told him, like, look, there was no restrictions on this for over a decade, and they're not slowing down.
Yep.
And they don't have an EPA in these other countries. They'll pollute their rivers. Look what goes on in India. They'll just pump out that toxic dye water and run straight into the rivers. They do not care.
Nope,
so,
not one bit.
Yeah, no. All right, get off here. Get some rest, my man.
Cool.
All right, boss. Have a good one, boss.
Have a good show.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
How's